What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there is your girl, Adara, and I am Sharif, and we're going to wait, as we typically do, for all the other viewers to migrate on over from the other stream. We already have a couple of early birds. We got the Darwin, the Fat Figga, as well as the Crazy Stitch Lady. Welcome all. Great lesson for you guys today. We're talking about bull flags all week. Today, we'll be talking about a confirmation style trade. So I hope you guys can hang out with us here. Hi to both of you, says Sebastian. What's up, JC Finance, Red, Easy Trader. We got Charan, Tej, JF Trader, Stock Up, as well as Dude Rocks 420. I like that name, my man. Peter Panda, we got Bala Nambid, we got Joshua Walker, Pillsbury, Big, Michael Lloyd, Naps, as well as Mom Pulsive, and Cairo. Ronaldo as well in the house. Daniel Melendez. We got the Piper. We got the Gauntlet, baby. A lot of people are joining us. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with Adara and I. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fine morning?
It goes all right. It goes all right. Looking at a couple of things over here. We'll get to all that in a minute, but anything that you're looking at while I set up the read?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I have had my eye on, although it looks like it's breaking down, I take a look and then it decides to not cooperate, but that's okay, that's cool. Well, I'm looking at NVDL, but NVIDIA, this is interesting. Kind of, speaking of flags, this isn't a perfect like bear flag or anything, but we had this move down, then we had this chop and churn. I was willing to play this range from 34 to 30. What is this, 3360? Looks like it could be breaking down, though, below this 9 EMA. In that case, I don't have a read right now on anything, but that was kind of my big look. As usual, if anybody sees any ranges lurking in the abyss of the markets that they want to point out, of course, let me know. But I'm going to take a look at Mara because I've been looking at a lot of these crypto-related names as of late, so let's see how Mara. Okay, this I actually really like on Mara. We had this bounce there earlier at 9:30. This is where we opened. We spring to the upside. Look at where we just had that sharp, fierce rejection with a very bearish wick to the upside here. 9:15. Oh, sorry, 19:15. Mara gets a spot in the side chart for that and that alone. So there you go, Mara. Congratulations. Bye-bye, Ford. We can't afford to have Ford on my side chart when we could have Mara, but we also could have an ad read.
Yes. Have you ever wanted to trade on events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the U.S. where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomato score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using the promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%, by the way. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and Boeing has announced a new CEO by the end of the year. You cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into the diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events. Shout out to the good folks there at Kalshi. Okay, so that was interesting there. So let's have a look now at some of these markets because, well, look, let's be quite real with it. Things that typically go up are going down, and things that typically go down are going up. Here's what I mean by that. The dead one, AKA AAPL, on a move up today. Really no news other than the fact that, yeah, we have this May 7th event or something like that that's going to announce a new iPad. I'm personally not that excited about it, but anyway, Apple up 0.2%. The chart on Apple looking better than all the other charts combined. That is if you're a bull. If you're a bear, you're probably salivating at Meta, Amazon, and even here, MSFT. It had a big topping tail candle into 412.5. We'll get to Softy in a second. The soft one here having forming a bit of a base here at 408 3/4 or that 409. How many bottoming tail candles and lower highs are we going to accumulate here on Softy? So I'm going to keep my eyes on that possible trade to be had here, whether a bounce or a flat bottom break. But Apple, quite strong here to the high side, retaking that 168. This dip off the volume weighted average price was absolute money. I'll show you my trade in a second on this one. Took this bad boy short a couple of times and then just noticed, you know, these topping tail candles are not what I thought they were. I thought I had charted yesterday 168.30 to 168.50 in my overnight charting as a key area of resistance on Apple, and it did come to fruition. However, there was no continuation to the downside. VWAP said, this is as low as we're gonna go, and it looks like we're curling right back up there to test those highs again at that third of a dollar. We're on our way, it looks like, to a fifth of a dollar here on AAPL. So I'm going to look for Apple here on possible dip trades long. I will be looking short Amazon. I will be looking possibly short here Meta. Not exactly sure how I'm going to trade Tesla or Google or Nvidia for that matter, but we'll keep eyes on these bad boys as the day goes on. Yeah, there are the couple of shorts that I had here on AAPL, but I got to tell you, I kept leaving my desk. The level that I really wanted was that 168.25, and it did come in twice. So both these times I was late to the party and definitely was not able to profit off it as I wanted to. So keeping my eye on these ones, and we'll also talk about some small gappers that are making moves today there.
Yeah, that is what we do. We will always so many things to look at in these markets. I already have an order waiting here. Shout out to the Stitch Lady pointing out, actually got involved, so sweet. So the Stitch Lady pointing out this range in AT&T. I'm starting to get involved early because I don't want to miss it. I like what I'm seeing here. I like that we kind of, there's a couple levels I like in this. For one, look at this 50, this kind of base we had here at 1654. Chop and turn, then we fall to the downside. Look where we reject on that wick. Same area. If we break into 1655, I'm going to be out of this trade. But if not, I'm building a position and I'm not adding any more. I have the amount of shares I want. This pop up, I don't love, but there's not a lot of volume accompanying it. And I think this is still an interesting level. That's why I wanted to kind of build the position and then wait to see how everything will unfold and occur. We're going to start taking profits here at 40s. If we get there, 40, 41, then saving pieces for dreams. I have enough for, I think, at least 2 beak wetters, maybe a third. We're going to have to see how I portion everything out there, how I dole out the shares. It's like, you get a share, you get a share. I feel like, okay.
I love it.
But we're going to have to see how this goes. I'm happy with this trade right now. Thank you to the Stitch Lady for pointing that one out.
I like it. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour today. We are talking about breakout trading using a bull flag. Today, though, we're going to talk about it, the breakout with the confirmation. So we're going to double check, the bull flag's charge, or so to speak. So the bull flag beckons with a potential price surge, but wouldn't you feel safer if you had some reassurances? I know I would. The breakout with confirmation strategy addresses this by adding an extra layer of security before entering a long position in a bull flag pattern. Let's talk about that. As we typically do, we're just going to define what a bull flag is in case you are a newer trader and joining us for the first time today. Imagine a bull about to charge but pauses to gather its strength. This pause is reflected in on the chart as a bull flag pattern. So the way that it looks is you move up and then you move sideways. The sideways part of the bull flag pattern, that's the bull catching its breath, getting ready for another charge, okay? It forms after a price increase, followed, as I explained, by a period of sideways consolidation within a defined range. So that sideways movement after that big move up typically has a general area top and a general area bottom that you try to exploit, because that's how we get in. And here is the basics of it. As I said, there is the pull. So you have that big price action move up here on BTC. Wow, this was at 41,000. So that was either earlier, late last year or sometime in 2021, it looks like. But anyway, you get that big move up, and then you have a period of sideways consolidation. Usually it's either tilting down or up or compresses. So you usually get a parallelogram like this one to the downside or the upside. Generally, though, they do respect the trend lines that you draw to the top and bottom. It's not a hard and fast rule. But this is the breakout area. So when you talk about the continuation of the bull flag, you're looking for the breakout from the top trend line. So that's what we're talking about there. So breakouts, they're exciting, but they're also really risky. A standard breakout buy involves entering a long position when the price decisively breaks above the upper trend line of a flag. as I just showed. While exciting, breakouts can often be risky. Sometimes prices might tease a breakout, but then fall back. That's what we call a fake out breakout. And here's a great example of it. Look at this. So you have a nice bull flag, and shout out to Adair for putting these pictures in as well. You have a nice bull flag. You have the lower highs, the lower lows in that consolidation area, and then you get a break of the upper trend line. Alas, it was a fake out breakout because then you got huadunkt. And if you're new here, huadunkt means you went down. And then that's a nice way of saying it. And then all the way down you go, and you basically retrace all the way to the breakout area of the initial bull flag itself. This is what we call a fake out breakout. So confirmation, adding security to the trade. So the confirmation strategy involves waiting for an additional signal after the initial breakout to validate the upward move. Here are some common confirmation techniques. Look for a bullish candlestick pattern. Look for bullish candlestick patterns forming after the breakout. So once you've broken out from that top trend line, is there some sort of pattern there, candlestick pattern I'm talking about, that shows you a bullish signal? For example, a bullish engulfing, a hammer candle that formed above there, things of that nature. These patterns suggest strong buying pressure behind the price move and give you that nice added check mark next to the list there for confirmation. You should also be looking for increased volume. Ensure the breakout is accompanied by significant increase in trading volume. This confirms the buying interest and reduces the chances of a fake out. I'm not saying that if the breakout doesn't happen with above average volume that is automatically, a fake out, but it helps add that other layer of security to be accompanied with good volume. And the price retest, this is so important. And John J. Murphy talks a lot about this in his books, Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. He often talks about retesting that area of resistance that was broken to prove to you that the buyers are going to step up in that area. So here's what I mean. So over here, when you had the actual breakout of the bull flag on the top trend line over here, what he would like typically is for the price to get away from it a little bit, come back down, retest that same trend line, and hold up at that area before continuing north again. The reason is he wants to ensure that the same buying pressure that led to the breakout is still there and that same interest continues. So look for a price retest, very important as a confirmatory indicator as well. And here is a graphic showing the volume trends and candlesticks to look for in bull flag breakouts. So you have that big move up, that period of consolidation where the volume drops off. The period of consolidation should have lower volume in general than the upward move, which is the pull. And then what you're looking for is once you break out from that upper trend line, it should be accompanied yet again by above average volume. And the area that you can compare to is the consolidation area. Does the breakout above the upper trend line have more volume than did the candles during the consolidation? So keep that in mind when you are looking for confirmation. And beyond the basics, let's talk about how to add another layer of security. So missed opportunities. Waiting for the confirmation can lead to missed trades if the price moves quickly after the breakout. That is part and parcel of trading. If you're going to employ this strategy, typically you will have some missed opportunities. Multiple confirmation is also really important. While one confirmation is good, multiple confirmations, for example, a bullish pattern and increased volume, can provide even stronger validation. So look out for as many confirmatory indicators as you can. And always have a stop loss. And I'm going to keep saying this every time. I don't care. Even with confirmation, even with a lot of check marks next to its name, the market can be quite unpredictable. Always use a stop loss order in order to limit your potential losses. And if you're joining late, if you do miss the initial breakout of the bull flag and still want to get involved, do your best to avoid FOMO. Wait until you see a sign of continuation like clear support, higher highs, higher lows before you jump in. And here's a little bonus tip, guys. Consider the time frame of your trade. For shorter term trades, a single confirmation might suffice. However, for longer term trades, whether you're trading on the daily, the 4-hour, whatever, you might want to look for more confirmation, multiple confirmatory indicators rather than just one like you would accept on an intraday trade.
Yeah, you want to always make sure that you have all of everything ready for your trades, especially in a breakout or a breakdown, because they're not always going to come to fruition how you want them to. And I'm going to mention NVIDIA. Shout out to KC, who I guess was also looking at this flag. This is a bear flag, but I still want to point it out here. So this NVIDIA bear flag, right, it wasn't like perfect, mind you. It was kind of, I'll switch to see if it's clearer in a 10-minute perhaps. Yeah, so still pretty hard to read, but you did have, again, not perfect, but you did have that kind of move here, right? Then we test a little bit below, come back up, and then we fall further to the downside, right? So the thing is, too, is you don't always know, A, how it's going to necessarily manifest, and B, when it's going to hit. So, yeah, that was definitely, I missed the ball on that. But, yeah, nice look overall. And I think one thing, too, is if you want to get involved at, let's say, the bottom of a bull flag or the top of a bear flag, you kind of have to be a little bit more gutsy with it. It's really going to depend on the type of style that you want, which I think was key as well when you mentioned confirmation.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to put that out there. Also, I'm in this Tesla short, and I am pleased as punch. Right now, not feeling much stressful. We're giving this 5 pennies of risk. That's 670 area right below VWAP, also an earlier area of resistance, and that little wick there. So we're risking up to 670. I have 2 beak wetters. We're going to get out the bulk of this position at 657, so we're trying to make about 8 pennies there as part of that position. I'm okay with that risk reward. Then saving pieces for dreams, which are going to be around 650. We'll have to see if we get that. Right now, though, I am going to be getting out of AT&T. I think let's just see how that's going, because I did want to see, I probably got involved in this position too early, maybe a little bit overzealous. I want to see what we did here at the bottom of this area, but we had that little bit of rejection with the viciousness, so I'm going to stay involved for now. I want to see, again, I want to see us test this a couple times before I get out. I'm okay with the size of the position I have. We're not too much out of the money here because I like where I entered. I just could have probably gotten a better point of entry had I decided to wait and just get involved actually at 50s instead of building my way up to it. But we're going to have to see on that. Right now, though, happy with how Tesla is going thus far. Basically flat, but happy I just took the initiative to get involved in the first place. Also, I am watching NVDL to see if we break down any further here. NVDL. This chop and churn here around this 33 area, which on NVDA, its older sister, is going to be around this 820. Yeah, 820. I like this. I really like this. And initially, I was going to be looking for 33.50, 33.15. I don't know if I'm going to get that. And I don't know if I want to have that while I'm involved in 2 other trades. But I think if I do some, dealing with my positions, making some room in my heart and my charts for NVDL, I think I'd be interested in
I like that.
I might miss this breakdown, but I also don't want to have more chickens than I can count. You know what I mean? That was a weird analogy, but I want to make sure I have all my trades in a row, my ducks in a row. How are you doing?
I just want to know who hurt Meta. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Is it okay? I mean, I don't know, Katina Man. The TikTok tailwind, I guess it was a sell the news event. The Katina Man was looking for the short earlier on Meta. I mean, it was kind of, sure, we knew that TikTok bill was coming, and, well, it was kind of, I don't know. It seems like a sell the news event on the day. I mean, I know the market is down, but we were at 512 in the pre, almost at 512 in the pre, and now we're talking about a 490 break on Meta. 490.65 LOD right now on META, so keep your eye on this one. The retracements into the 10 period have paid off. There haven't been many. Let's be real about it. It's been quite distant from the 10 period as it is right now. The 10 period's hanging out above 494. We're printing 490 something. So in order for it to retrace to the 10 period, it's got to retrace a few bucks. So Meta awfully weak, and so is the Amazonian. Oh, and the Amazonian is back. The old one, the Canoba, is back from vacation, baby. Looking tanned as always. Beautiful look there. But yeah, 177 coming in right now on AMZN, a bit of a hammer candle forming here. Not like I've really charted 177 as any significant level of support. I did chart 180 as either an area of support or resistance on Amazon yesterday, and I took a trade on the sim this morning on it, trying to collect better data without incurring big losses. And so I took a short on this monster earlier, and it ended up paying off. So I'll talk more about these new charting, the evening charting sessions that I've been doing here. This is basically it. And we're charting all this data over here, and then we're coming in the morning, we're putting dip trades on the sim to see whether they strike or what the situation is. And then after a couple of months, we're going to collect our data and see what the situation is, whether it's profitable, and then maybe we'll try employing the same methodology in live trading. Right. Anyway, so Amazon 177 right now, holding for the moment. We'll see if it continues down. Apple looks like it's in a bit of a range trade here. So I'm going to get to the small caps in a second, but Apple had a nice big move up off that 166.90 close yesterday, reclaiming 170 and basically ranging a little bit here, a little bit below 168, a little bit above it. So we'll see if we can figure out some sort of range play here on Apple. But what I want to talk about are some of these small cap gappers. There was quite a few this morning. Some of them carryovers from yesterday. I'm talking about you, CZOO. I'm talking about you, MTC. They're both carryovers from yesterday and both doing quite well, both up into the high teens. CZOO 19.75%. This was tradable when I put it on my chart over here. It has since broken down below the volume weighted average price at around $11.50. No longer tradable until it does reclaim that level. MTC. This one was also a carryover from yesterday. You'll see that big bull flag that we put in there at around 10 o'clock. This one really making its move after the bell. But all these topping tail candles into $3, setting up a possible short. If you're able to get shorts on MTC, I would put something around maybe 295 with maybe a 305 stop. Anyway, it's putting in higher lows. So if you're long inclined and can't get your hands on the shorts, the 50 period here has been an interesting area of retracement. Right now, the 50 period is overlapping with the $half area at 250. This could be an interesting area to get a dip trade. So we'll keep eyes on MTC. The other one I keep my eyes on, this is the biggest mover of the day, but let's be real about it. It's not doing any volume, and it goes by CSSEP, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh.
Hold on. Weren't these books or something like that?
They were books, yeah.
They were. I'm like, I knew these things growing up, man.
Yeah, we read them.
This thing is still alive? All right, well, it's up 100% today, so who can discourage it? It's done about less than 100,000, less than a million shares, 922,000 shares. It's an 88 penny stock. That's not going to cut it, obviously. So, quite frankly, it's not tradable for me. The one that is tradable, though, Ram, is this one over here, MULN, Mullen back in the game. So this one's trading nicely here after that $2.75 close yesterday. Breaks up to 393 HOD at the moment, knocking on the door 4. It does seem to find its footing for whatever reason at the $half. So the retracements into 350 have been bought up 5 times here on the 5-minute chart. All these 5-minute candles coming into that 350 area and getting bought up. So if you're looking for a possible dip trade, 350 could be an interesting area, though. We do have what looks to be something like a double top at 395. What's up?
I just saw that range, and I got really excited. I'm going to have to put Mullen on my side chart.
All right. It's making the side chart. What are you looking at there? I saw a couple of fist bumps while I was talking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very mild fist bump, and I think it's still probably going to be looking the same direction. But this AT&T, initially, I did like it because we did have this rejection of that area earlier. We had some chop and churn that 1652. Then we get to 1652, and that's when I did the fist pump. We did a little bit of a move to the downside from there. Now it looks like we might be bouncing off this 90 MA. Also, we did have this double bottom when I stepped back and looked at it earlier. So this could be a bullish look, but I have no reason to leave yet, so I am staying in. I just want to put that out there. I am cognizant of what this could mean, but right now, just based on how I structured the trade, I'm not going to leave yet. Also, Tesla. I'm smiling because my little Tesla is making to the bottom here. We're about a couple pennies away here from my profit taker. So please just punch about that. Looking for the bottom of that little range here earlier. So 657 will be a profit taking goal. If we struggle here, I'll get out 660s. I have no problem taking 6 pennies and then saving pieces for dreams. You know what? We are going to take out some of this position here. Let's do this. So that's going to be, and we're still going to save a piece for the dream here at 57s. I have no qualms about that. But also, and I was waxing poetic yesterday about that very stressful trade that I had with a firm where it was going really well, but I wasn't decisive enough and I wasn't scalpy enough, and it went badly. So it's like with that in mind, Adara, adhere to your trading style. And your trading style is intense range scalps. So I'm not going to do that type of trading. You know what I mean? I think that's going to kind of what's going to get me down, I think, and at least for me, especially going live, I need to really adhere to what works best for me. So TSLL, this scalp, we still have 1/3 of our position left, so I'm okay holding that right now. AT&T, we're still gonna have to wait and see there on AT&T, and yes, that rhyme was sort of intentional, because I don't have any reason to leave, but we're gonna have to wait and see if I have reasons to stay. And wow, that sounded like it was out of a bad romance movie or rom-com. Also, BOF, some people were mentioning, I believe as well in the chat. This one, Branch Foods. I want to make sure I have Branch Out Foods. There we go. This one trading higher. It's getting its third contract with the nation's largest retailer. What retailer is this? Not saying what retailer this is, but $8 million contract there. Nice bounce off VWAP here for BOF. This one is a small cap. We are seeing kind of higher lows here, but also slightly lower highs. So this could be.
Do you not want to say, or do they not say?
They're not saying.
Oh, you got me all excited here. I was like, yo, I need to know immediately.
Yeah, that would be very odd if I was like, oh, here's the news.
No, I was like, oh, Dara.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
No, they didn't tell us. No, that's okay. What happened. Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll tell you the truth. I don't have a trade yet. I am looking for a trade. I just saw Google bounce off pivots here. I like this area on Google. There seems to be something afoot with this 157.50 and this 158.25 because it's rinsing and repeating here. So interesting look right now on goggles, down 0.3%. Like the market gave up everything. I think we were well over a percentage point on the NQ, and now we're only up a quarter. We're red on everything else. The ES is down a fifth. The Dow is down 0.4. The Russell's almost down 2/3. So things are turning around here. Google's holding up a little bit better than most. I would say Apple, obviously, a little bit better than most as well. There does seem to be a bit of support as well out on Tesla at around 161 for whatever reason. Not exactly sure. It's trading below VWAP. VWAP at 163. That gives you about $2 worth of room between the bottom end of the range here and the volume weighted average price. So another possible look there on Tesla. I really, this was the trade that I wanted to get into, but it wouldn't have given me much here. This would have been 20-penny winner so far right now, which is on Google. Let's flip to the small cappers. Yeah, Mullen is going, man. Mullen, new high a day now, $3.98. It's really knocking on the door of $4. It's at highs as we speak. I mean, I'm not personally going to take any sort of breakout trade on this. The trade I would have liked on Mullen is a 350 dip, but we're like well above that. There goes $4 on Mullen. 405 now HOD on MULN. Is there a headline on this thing, or is it just Tesla?
One.
Yeah, let's maybe one came in. Let's find out.
I scoured.
All right, let's find out. Yeah, I'm not inclined to think that there is, just because Tesla as a whole. Here it is. This is the 23rd, so that was yesterday. So no, nothing today for MULN. This came in yesterday. No, so nothing really here to concern ourselves with. Anyway, $4 break right now, 405 HOD. We're at 399, so we're still fighting to stay above $4. The volume is solid on Mullen, though. Let's be real about it. 8 million shares done on, no, more than that. So yeah, 8.1 million shares done on the day. So good luck. Keep my eyes out there. Let me have a look, see here. Okay, so we're getting a lot of topping tail candles into 168 on Apple, all of which seem to be selling off. I mean, look at the closing prints on Apple. The great majority of them are south of 168. It's just about, can you hang long enough to deal with these wicks? Because sometimes they're as deep as 30 pennies, as shallow as 3. So you don't really know where it's going to top off here. Yeah, interesting. I don't have any trades right now. What are you looking at?
Yeah, okay, also, thank you, Hurt Scramble, for putting this in the chat. I saw this. I saw it came in on Monday, but Mullen's high energy facility marking phase 1 completion of the battery pack assembly mode. Nice. I think I mentioned that in the live as well. But yeah, that came out on Monday, so it could be delayed reaction to that as well. But thank you for bringing that to our attention and reminding me about that headline. I am in 2 trades right now. We're still in AT&T, but there's really nothing to AT and talk about in that one right now. Still basically flat on that, waiting to see a little bit of a move. Lower NVDL, though. I'm really proud of this. I know I said earlier I liked this exact level, this 33.15 on NVDL, and then I didn't take it because I didn't want to have to manage so many trades. I stand by not taking it, honestly, because I wouldn't have had really an area to get out. This isn't really my type of trade like that, the low of daybreak at the time, right? So I'm happy I waited, because then we come in again and I watch it reject and I say, Dara, this is your opportunity. This is the moment. So I got involved, making it sound a lot more anticlimactic given the amount of shares I have. It's not really that exciting, but I was happy I took the trade. Also, then we had this, in my opinion, super bearish candle on its big sister, NVDA, and look at where the candle rejects that earlier base around 826, right? I like this. I don't like this bullish candle following it, mind you, but we're going to have to see. I'm giving this about 15 pennies, trying to make minimum 25. So again, like I said earlier, I think, and someone asked this in a chat, maybe a super chat a couple weeks ago as well, but like, how do you choose risk reward ratios? I think it really depends on the person. Mine are not like any kind of 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Mine are usually some odd fraction, and as long as I'm risking less than I'm trying to make, I'm okay with it. So just for context, for my very bizarrely, deciphered risk reward ratios. That's the deal there. Also, yes, AT&T falling a little bit there, so please just punch about that. Basically flat in NVDL, going to stop babysitting this for the time being. Boeing, long or short, says Anunchai. So let's, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Let's take a look at Boeing and see where that's going. Again, not advice, but I mean, we can take a look at the chart and see if it's whispering to us. This is, okay, so I want to take a look at this and just kind of step back and say everything I'm seeing. So we do have, since the open, we've had lower highs and lower lows. We're kind of curling though a little bit. I see what you mean. We have a little bit of a pause here right below that 169 level. Boeing trying to curl back up here. What I'll say is I would like to see if we do curl back up, I want to see what we do at 170.50. That was definitely a support area earlier. We had a very bullish candle backing that up and putting the money where the mouth is, or the candlestick, I guess, where its mouth is. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is I think if we do curl back up, I would love to see what we do at 170.50. Until we break above that 170.50, I would say it generally looks like it's heading to the downside. But again, this is just one person's analysis. Take it with a grain of salt, if you will. I am a very new trader. But I do love charts, and to me, this chart is to me going to look like continued downward movement until we break above that 170.50. So yeah, still basically flat in NVDL. I might scalp out of this. What is this, AT&T a little bit earlier because we got near my point of entry and then we bounced back. So we're going to have to probably change some outs here. Like I said, I have room for 3 beak wetters, but I might not necessarily use all 3. I'll take profit earlier if I need to because I definitely need to be scalpier heading into this wild Wednesday. How are
Apple
you?
right back into that 168.20, the higher end of the range. I'm short the future right now on the TQQs for a possible debt. Well, I don't want to call it a dead cat bounce, but I'm looking here for some weakness to come in. We'll see exactly what we get. I'll play the range here on Apple as well. I'll give myself to 20s or thereabouts. Look, Apple is putting higher lows. But I think we range here for a bit, especially if the future doesn't really start popping. We'll see. We'll try a couple of trades here, one on Apple, one on the future to play the range. You're getting some decent retracements both on Meta and Amazon into the 10 period. I was talking about possibly shorting those bad boys into the 10 period, but we're going to have to pack our patience because they're not quite there yet. Well, at least Meta isn't. It looks like Amazon is. Apple is breaking into that 20-cent area. So, I mean, look, we've been at these levels before on Apple. The high of the day is 30. So we'll have to pack our patience a little bit with this one and see if we get stopped out. Let's go ahead and put the stop in over here. And we'll give it to, yeah, that's what we'll do there, and we'll see exactly what we get. Let's look at some other small, what's top DOPI saying? Have a look at VRT as a short here. Okay, that's interesting. Let's have a look at VRT. Let me just quickly look at my positions here. What am I doing here? Where's my TQQs? Okay, so we're not bad. We're okay. So let's look at VRT. Let's bring in the side chart over here. And look at that bad boy, VRT. So it'll take a second to load. What is this? Veritev Holdings, $33 billion market cap. Do we have a headline on it today? Hit record high after the company raises full year profit forecast, up 14%. Geez Louise. Okay, so let's have a look at the 5 here to see what we did. Okay, so we really got going there in the pre. It looks as if that's when earnings got released at around 5.55, maybe 5 to 6 or so. We've been selling off since that time, which is interesting. So we're kind of giving up the ghost on this move. Nice move up in the pre to like 90, almost 96 bucks. And then we're coming back down here. So maybe 86. I mean, I don't really have an exact level on this, not the one that I had an opportunity to chart either. Let's have a look at the 15 on this. So where are our levels? So from the level, okay, so now we're holding up at the 50 on the 15. This could be an interesting area of support actually, because we got a couple of bounces off the 50 already. So the 50 is hanging out at that $86.50 area. We're printing 86.79s. I'll keep this up on the side. Maybe something happens with it. And yeah, we'll see. I'll leave this one on the side.
Yeah, I'm going to mention HPQ. Thank you so much to the Stitch Lady and Sebastian bringing this one up. So basically what happened here is traders are circulating an unconfirmed rumor. I want to clarify, unconfirmed rumor that Greenlight has a very large new position in the company and calling it the future of AI and massively undervalued. Again, not something that has been confirmed, but I want to say looking at the analysis of the chart, something I'm noticing. So what I've noticed is what we'll kind of do on this HP, on this move to the upside. A, pretty strong volume across the board from when we had this breakout. B, look at how we'll kind of have this rest here. We'll pull back, and then we'll have like a new move up to wherever the previous candle was in the 5 minutes. So we have a move down here. Look at this wick at 28.15. Look where the next candle closes, 28.15. With that in mind, if we see a close around 28.30 and I have strong volume, I might get involved in this because again, this is a really odd indicator to use, but I'm just looking at how we're kind of seeing these wicks and then where the next candle closes as potentially something to look at. Mind you, this could, completely just be an odd thing I'm noticing on the chart. So I'm going to take this with like a scintilla of concern, but it's just one thing I think is interesting on this chart. If I see any more confirmation from that, I will let you know. But thank you guys in the chat for pointing that one out. Let's look at the daily at HP as well to see, or HPQ, sorry, to see what else is shaking. So this is a level we've kind of been at around a couple times. It's 27.50 that we bounced back up from. It's a nice little move up here for HPQ, but generally kind of lower highs, lower lows for this name going back to March. And also what's interesting is that level we fell from in mid-March, that 31 has definitely been an area we've struggled to break above for the last little bit. So I really would be deeply curious to see what HPQ does there. I'm going to check where their earnings are to see what's coming up next. HPQ, so the estimate is June 4th. They have not confirmed. Also, 3 hours ago, they announced a title partnership with Ferrari. So I guess that's something as well, but it definitely looks like that move up there is on the rumor of that Greenlight investment. So we'll keep that in mind there. Thank you guys for bringing that up in the chat. MRNA, says Ollie. And yeah, I can totally take a look. Let's see. This one's always in the NQ, and I remember because I always think it should be in the NY, and it isn't. So now I've started to reverse engineer my brain for that. MRNA down about... Ooh, okay, this one sold off with swiftness, so that's a little bit unfortunate. We had this very, very topping tail candle here at this 12.55. Yeah, sorry, this 112.55 level coming into 8.40. Lower highs, lower lows. Now we're coming into that interesting base we touched twice earlier, that 108.20. So I'm really going to want to see what we do here. To me, that might be a level of interest. But we've had slightly higher highs, higher lows here starting at 11.05. We did have some positive AI-related news from Moderna. So we're going to have to wait and see what we do here. But yeah, mRNA right now looking nice. Like I said, though, I think what we do here at that previous support, 108.25, because support can become resistance, could be spicy. Ollie, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Not seeing any message there. No. But thank you very much for your support for the show. Oh, yeah, that was with Moderna. Okay, perfect. So I did get to look at Moderna there. So hopefully that Moderna read helps. Thank you very much for your support for the show. I got stopped at Apple because it just printed a new high of day, 168.40. Apple's going here, guys. And doesn't feel like the entire market is, even though we're a couple of pennies out of the money right now on the TQQQ short, and now we just got stopped out. So it does look like the market is headed up here. I'm seeing a big move here on Apple as well as Tesla, but not much else, to be quite honest. So you're seeing dead money right now on Meta as well as Amazon, and not much happening in the way of NVIDIA as well. But Google is finding that nice base at, for whatever reason, at 157 2/3, making it right back up into 158. I'll be looking to short at Google at maybe 158 1/4. We'll try to play that range, see if it continues to range on the day. But Apple just awfully strong here, 0.89%. Look, if Apple makes its way into 170, I'm going to short it with size because this has been below
170 for a while. So here's the daily look on Apple. And yeah, we keep using 170 once we broke it as a level of resistance rather than support. And there was that outlying day, obviously, that we got the AI news on Apple, and then we just sold below 170 again. So we're a little away from it at the moment. I mean, we got to get up another $1.50, and I don't know if that's really going to happen here on AAPL, but yeah, not much of a read for me today quite yet. I've tried to play the ranges on a couple of these names, all without fruition. I have a short hanging up here on NVDL at $33.33 to play this range on NVIDIA. So if this can come back into that key area of support earlier, this was the close, 824.24 or thereabouts. We closed there yesterday. We use it as a level of support earlier, break down below it. Now we're kind of using it as a level of resistance. So a deeper retracement into that area maybe takes me into 833, or sorry, 33, yeah, 33.33 on NVDL. But it looks like it might be curling down here again without me. So it looks like I was a little too early to the short party, at least on the future, because now you've got Meta and Amazon curling right back down again. And Apple's coming down off those highs. So interesting look here. I don't feel like I have a great read on this market quite yet. So I'm just going to stay put for now. And if that 158.25 comes in on Google, that's really the only other short other than the NVDL short I'll be looking for there.
Yeah, I'm in that NVDL short for now. I said, and I like that you mentioned that 30s level because that's what I'm also looking at NVDL.
Yeah.
They're at 33.30s. If we break above that decisively, I am out of the trade, but we haven't, so I'm still in, basically flat on this guy, ready for her to continue to head to the downside. I am noticing that we did have a slightly higher low, or sorry, slightly higher high for me here on the 5 minutes. So I'm going to be very cognizant of what we do. Ideally, I'm going to be looking for what we do at 32.90s. If we break a little bit lower, I'll stay, but I'm totally comfortable with 90s. I do not mind taking that with what I was risking here for my NVDL, risking about 15 pennies, comfortable making about 20.25. That is a risk-reward ratio that I am okay with. Also, I want to look at some of these Bitcoin names. Someone was mentioning Mara range to me earlier, and I do see it. I just think my timing on it has not been great. But we have slightly higher highs, higher lows here. Nice base around 1880. So that's a level I'm definitely going to be checking out as we kind of get near the bottom of this range there. CLSK also doing a pretty similar thing, but instead of higher highs, higher lows, we have lower highs, lower lows. So CLSK and Mara a little bit reverse of each other, which I think is kind of interesting, or inverse, I guess. NVDL, let's hopefully make this an NVDW if you want to get like a little bit lower. There you go. I'm just coaxing the stock, motivating her for success. I'm we're doing some motivational speaking, motivational life coaching here for this NVDL. Okay, I like this bounce at 93s. We're going to get out here. That's a level that I think I'm comfortable with leaving at if we're able to get filled. There we go. Please just punch. NVDL. Could have stayed a little bit longer. We did dip a bit lower, but I've learned from the Affirm disaster from yesterday that you just got to take your profits and run sometimes.
That's what I did right now, but I took it too quickly. Dang it.
Oh.
Yes, Tesla VWAP rejection, took that 163 short. We wet our beak there on some profits into the 40s, but alas, it continues to go a dollar drop in a few seconds there on Tesla off the volume weighted average price rejection. Saw that quick, punched in, and yeah, didn't take enough profits. And dang it, oh, come on, Fuge. Come on, Fuge. So yeah, this is me getting shaken out here. So I had the right idea, just, got pushed out of this trade. Should have given it a little bit more room, but that's the way it is. The Fuge, down it goes. 17,625.25. Big move down right now on the Fuge to make a new low, and you're seeing everything print to the downside, not just Tesla. I'm talking about you, Amazon, that just broke support level 2 on the pivots. I'm talking about you, Meta, that's at support level 2 right now on pivots, and NVIDIA all the way down. Shout out to Adair for that NVDL trade. One hell of a trade there. I'm still looking at 157 2/3 on goggles because that has been a fixed range trade. It was fixed in the pre. Then we had the IB high and low with excessive volume. Then once the volume kind of got reined in, the range reestablished itself. So I want to see, is Google going to hold this 157 1/3 or thereabouts? If it does, I'll be looking to play the range there. But everything to the downside right now, Apple included. 168 here on Apple. Now we cleared 168 by 42 pennies. Do we now use it as support? Question asked and answered. There goes 168. But on a closing basis, not yet. We're going to have to wait a few more minutes for the 5-minute candle to close. But this observation could be important. Every single dip on Apple today has bounced off the 20-period moving average. Every single print north of that IB high at 935 has bounced off the 20-period. So should we be playing the 20-period? And in case you're wondering, the 20-period is the solid yellow line on my chart. So we'll see exactly what we get here right now on 168 on Apple. But if history is to be any guide, this 20-period will hold up. So maybe a dip trade into 167.90. Speaking out loud, not making suggestions. We'll see what we get. But what a dump here on the future. And the NQ is barely, and I mean barely, holding on positive. And the NQ just went into yesterday's close and bounced off. There's a bit of a hammer candle forming here. 17,610 now, LOD on the NQ. The closing print from yesterday is 17,607. So 3 points, Katina, man, below the current low of day. Down goes the future.
Yeah, I mean, also I like when how you asked like Apple, like, oh, we're gonna hold this level, and then Apple immediately answered your question. Like, she's respecting you. I think she's maybe over you calling her the dead one.
I would have been okay with it giving me some profits other than respecting my level. I gotta tell you the truth. You know, I personally would have been.
I mean, you're still allowed to be like upset. Like, she's by no means perfect. No, we're just joking. We're going off on a run here. I'm really hesitant to go long in anything right now, but I also, you know, I want to see what happens here with these markets. I kind of like this IBIT short. And you know what? Why not take a bit and IBIT? I just want to make sure I like my levels. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So we're going to get in 89s, small position, see what happens here. Also, some people were asking if they're seeing any news in the market. I have not seen anything. Shout out to Paul Godson, though, saying that Reddit is talking about potentially being caused by some geopolitical tensions. If I see anything on that, I will let you guys know. But I haven't seen anything. But thank you to Paul Godson for letting us know what you're seeing. Or Goodson? Sorry, Paul Goodson. Pardon?
Not more geopolitical tensions.
We do not need.
I don't need more.
Yeah, we don't need any more. Stan O saying, you don't need news, look at the chart. So yeah, I mean, I think the chart's certainly saying something right now. We also have some people mentioning BTC, Javison here mentioning BTC, so I'm gonna I have my IBIT open right now, and I mean, yeah, it's certainly taking a move to the downside here. Let me just get my trading view open so I can look at BTC. Isn't this frustrating when you're 1 cent away from your point of entry? But I mean, like, in a way, it's kind of nice. It's like, oh, you had the right idea, but it's like you were saying, I'd rather not just have the right level. I'd rather it also give me what I want.
Well, Apple's, it was nice. It heard what I said. We took a nice little trade there on Apple for a 20-penny winner, super quick. Look for that 168 defend, Katina, man. What's going on there? Want to update us? The Katina man took $300 in 10 minutes. I'm kidding, bro. Come on. Yeah, tongue in cheek. The Katina man just took $3 in 10 minutes on.
I wanted Darren to tell me
where
his short was on Tesla.
Oh,
where was his short on Tesla?
Okay.
I have a guess, but he asked you, so you go.
I also have a guess. It's going to be 163.04.
Hold on. What exactly was it, though?
My price right now is 162.48.
Okay.
But
The entry.
Yeah, so I took one at 162.40 and another one at 162.75.
162.70. I mean, the VWAP is there. Basically, the Katina man was taking the VWAP rejection on Stressla. So I basically have to echo that trade with the Katina man. We took the exact same trade there with him. He obviously printed quite a bit more because we got out of this one way too soon. But 163 comes in on TSLA, and there it goes again. Keep your eye on 158 1/3. That is the IB low that we printed this morning before we jettisoned up into 167.97, essentially 168 high of day right now on TSLA. There goes Apple right back into the high of day. So yet again, we take a trade and we don't hold it for long enough into the high of day, 168.42. It looks as if 168, which was a previous area of resistance, on AAPL, now looking to act as a level of support. That is, well, at least for now, so we'll keep an eye on that. By the way, I want to repeat this again, but for whatever reason, and I don't care why, the 20 period on the 5 is where the dip trades on Apple are being bought up. You can see that that has been the case for the better part of an hour. This candle here at 10:45 dipped into the 20 period and it bounced right off and made a hammer looking candle. Subsequent candles all retraced into the 20 period, all of which were bought up as well. Do with that what you may, but I just wanted to point that out. Adara.
I like when you throw it like that. I like it. Also, yeah, so IBIT, we're about 7 to 8 pennies in the money on this, and I say that because we're fluctuating on my IBIT. But let's talk about BTC, because if people were asking, let's look at BTC. Yeah, I mean, look at that massive. We had that move down, and BTC prints its largest volume candle on the day by a mile on the 5-minute, continuing to move to the downside, but seeing a little bit of a pause here at this 64.719 level, which is also interesting because look where we had these failed wicks to the downside earlier. 64.719. So let's wait and see what occurs there. And in case you're trading IBIT, like I am, that level is going to be about 36.90, which is why that's where I got short. I would love to see IBIT make this beautiful move back down into 36.70s. Right now, we bounced a little bit off that 36.80. If I need to scalp, we all know I will. I will scalp, I will run, and I will scalp. So scalp season always for me. Scalp season never ends. It's 24/7. But we're going to have to wait and see because I do not like this little wick here showing that we could have a little bit more of a move to the downside. But then again, I think sometimes patience does work out. So if you see one thing on the chart that's a little bit concerning, make sure you wait for your levels to come in. That's why I'm really happy I stayed in this MVDL, even though, and I think I said this as well on the show, we did that slightly higher high here that made me a skosh nervous. But we didn't get into 30s. I wanted to see 33.30s break into with the viciousness. We didn't get there, so I didn't have a reason to leave. So I'm happy I stayed. And I think the one thing I'm learning, patience is a virtue. Now, with that in mind, will I still scalp out of things earlier if they're in the money? Oh, heck yeah. But I'm not going to leave a trade early if I don't have any reason to until my levels hit, if that makes sense, right? So I think I just wanted to kind of explain that. With that in mind, I'm still in AT&T because I don't have a reason to leave. We're just waiting for this to continue to the downside, decidedly below the 90 MA. How is the trip on Bear Island going? Oh, Sean just pressed the button there, so I guess the shorts are going well.
Everything is tanking, Adara. That's for the exception of Apple, really. Apple is just on the way up. Another high a day since I last reported now, 168.57 to the high side. But I am seeing a hammer candle come in here on Meta. And it's coming in at an interesting area of support level 2 on pivots. Now, you don't want to put too much stock into one candle for sure. But right now, let's keep an eye on this. Because right now we got an aggressive dip into 486 2/3, and we just got bought up $2 in one 1-minute candle right there, right back into 488 2/3. So this is looking like it's going to close as a hammer candle, but Meta has rejected off every retracement into the 10 period, and that's where I want to get in initially, but we missed that trade. The soft one has been absolutely tanking today. All right. I don't know. What's that? It's tanking hard right now, though, Neil says. Yeah, he's absolutely accurate on that. Yeah, the soft one has been in a full state of tank. And you can kind of get the idea of how aggressively it's selling off based upon the current price action's distance away from the 10 period. So you'll see here, we kind of hugged the 10 period for the majority of the morning when we were selling off. Now the distance is really starting to open up here between us and the 10 period. The 10 period's at 408 1/4. We're printing 407s 1/4 right now. So big move down for Softy today right now. And it's not like down aggressively on the day. Realistically speaking, we're only down 0.08%. But the fact of the matter is the chart pattern is looking awfully bearish right now in the exact same way that the chart pattern on Apple is looking awfully bullish, okay? So I've got a couple of things that I want to do here. I've got eyes on Meta because this hammer candle is really interesting me on the 5. Let's see how it closes. That's number 1. Number 2, I've set up a dip trade here on goggles at 157 2/3 to play the range. We'll see how that one ends up playing out. And my order on NVDL at that area at 333.33 is still there in case it does make that retracement. I don't know if that level is valid anymore currently, but we'll revisit that. Tesla just bounced off 160. So there is a range possibly here being established on the Cybertruck with 163 basically to the high side and 160 or thereabouts to the low side. Now you're going to get the wicks that may stop you out, so you need to account for that if you're going to play these ranges. But look at this. Remove this big move up here in Tesla at 10 o'clock. Just remove that one for a little bit. Now you've got the pre-market or the IB high there in the pre-market as well. 163 seems to be the top with 160 being the bottom. That holds true from the pre as well as the after the bell, Adair. So I'm going to send it to you because I need to set up a trade.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you, Jay Lee, for the comment on the NVDL short. Yeah, I think for me, I just really liked that level. For whatever reason, I didn't want to FOMO into it when I missed it the first time. So I said, Adara, if it comes back in, you have to get in. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes more than once in a lifetime if you're trading. But in that case, I already missed it once, so I had to take it where I did. Also, IBIT, I'm trying to get out of this at 80s. I did not like that one IBIT. I did not like that one bit when we had that little bullish candle. I was like, nah, cut it off at 80s. I'll take 10 pennies. And this didn't really go against me, so I don't feel like I risked too much either. You know what I mean? We got in at 89s. Now we're just kind of waiting.
Bang.
There we go. Please, this punch. Thank you for that. AT&T, I just thanked a stock. I just thanked a stock.
That's okay.
That's cool. Thank you,
No big
IBIT.
deal.
Much appreciated. Also, there was, we had Mahmoud asking what's your view on Tesla short if it breaks the low of the day or via low of daybreak. So I have to be honest with you, this is not the type of, I just want to preface everything I say with this. This is not a type of trade I would ever take because it's not what I'm comfortable with, right? So take that in mind with everything I'm about to say to you. Like I said, I don't really like low of day trades. That being said, if we have that rejection off that 161 and then we break low, to me that could be spicy. But also, for myself as a trader, I would not be playing it that way. I'd be taking 161 to about 160s. Now, with all of those caveats, these probably unnecessary caveats out of the way, let's look at the short case for TSLA. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Lower low, lower low. But we're also holding the pseudo double bottom here at this 116. To me, that's the biggest case for potentially staying to the upside. I think we're going to really have to see what we do at 161 because that was certainly a level earlier that I think could come back into play. And it was a level that I ended up taking my short at, I believe, as well, that 161, but the equivalent on Tesla, which was about 660. So I think we're really going to have to see what's happening. We are below that 9 EMA, which is ironically also around 661. So I think there's certainly a lot of mixed signals happening in this Tesla. We're going to have to see if they're able to steer this in the right direction here. But I think either way, there could be some opportunities to play this 161 getting spicy. But I'm going to be really honest with you, Mahmoud, not sure in what direction. But I see a fist pump.
Yeah, there it is, 20 pennies on Tesla. So we take that bad boy right back up again to defend that level. But I think that there's probably going to be a lot more there. I think the 160 holds, to be quite honest with you. That's just my opinion. Do with it what you made. There it goes into the $0.50. Again, is Tesla. Nice move up. But Apple is the real deal today. Okay, so I was, kind of joking when I said I'm going to take 170 short on Apple. But we could see 170. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. We're about to see 169 maybe soon here. Where's my Apple screen? Let's go, brah. We may see 169 soon here. I'm not going to take anything off 169. That's not the play. The play is 170 for me. And I think this is one of those ones where size may be warranted here. Being on the show or not, I think I like that level, especially for, let's call a spade, man. Apple's weak, right? It's down. What is it down on the year now? 12.5%. And after today's bump up, it's down 12.5% still. So, yeah, it wouldn't be such a risky trade to, yeah. So I'm just talking to myself here about that. Okay, so it looks like I'm long goggles right now as goggles came right back down into my entry area. Where's my Google screen? There it is. So let's see what we get here. I'm going to send it to you, Adair, while I put in my stops.
Yeah, let's do it. I wish I had a trade to talk about, but AT&T is just AT and trucking. I have nothing to say about it, honestly. But I'll show you guys how it's going. I'm looking, again, continuously for the bottom of that range. Now, initially it was weird. This could be a little bit bullish, and shout out to a couple people in the chat mentioning that one as well. I think you could play it either way, but I'm trying to play the range. If we do end up getting a higher low here, especially with that double bottom, I don't mind taking it out where it is. We're a couple pennies in the money here in this position. But I also want to say I'm proud of myself for staying on this because I didn't have a reason to leave. So even though we did have that move up, I said, Adara, we haven't broken above that pretty massive support resistance area at 53s, 54s. So just stay in and breathe. And so in this case, please just punch that I ended up doing that. Oh, I think this might be my first please just punch of the day. But yeah, so we're gonna have to wait and see here. This market, honestly, is not giving me a super clear signal as of right now, so we're gonna have to wait to see if there's anything I feel comfortable with. I'm always eyeing the TQs. If we have another kind of rejection, I like previous support and resistance, as I'm always waxing poetic about. And shout out to you, though, for teaching me about the support resistance thing. Like, you know, looking at previous highs, like higher highs, higher lows, for outs and ins and stuff. That's been really helpful.
But I really wish somebody had taught me when I first started. Can't tell you how many slippers wouldn't have been thrown, mirrors wouldn't have been broken. I'm kidding with the mirrors, obviously. I don't want to jinx myself.
When you talk about, like, I like how that's why you wouldn't do it.
No, but I did. Yeah, no, I don't want to.
You don't want to jinx yourself.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, we're traders. We're so superstitious. You know what I mean? All right, nice move back up for goggles right now. We're going to wet our beak here on some profits as this one continues true to the range here on Google. So initially, I started off not reading these markets all that well. But I'm starting to feel myself a little bit here as we're getting a couple of nice trades on our belt. So I'm displeased and upset about being shaken out of the future, especially since I had the right idea. But alas, what is the next trade, as the OB, the one, the Knob always says. So we're nicely in the money on this bad boy, about 20 pennies here on goggles. Let's see if it can make it into the volume weighted average price. VWAP on my charts hanging out just a smidge above 158, 158.05 or thereabouts. I'll be looking to wet my beak prior to that whole dollar area coming in if we make it up there. Again, underline if we make it up there. Now, I want to mention something. This is why you don't put too much stock into one 5-minute candle. I was yapping about this great looking hammer candle that formed on Meta at a key area of support that is support level 2 on the pivots, and it was doing that right there. So I said, okay, let me see what the next candle brings subsequent to this candle here at 1150. The 1155 candle closed more bearish than the previous candle there at 1140. So don't put, too much stock into one candle or one piece of analysis there, as that hammer candle ended up meaning bupkis, and we continued to head down to print new lows. 486 now, and I'm not talking about the 90s computer, low on the day right now on META. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I really don't.
Oh, well, Neil, I know you know. Okay, I know you know, because we're from the same generation, my man. I know you were on 486s. Were you playing Wolfenstein? I love it. I guessed it. Yes, Wolfenstein. Shout out to the Neil, and shout out to Goggles for heading to the high side. That's another little dub there. Adara, please just punch.
Yeah, you didn't have to Google search for.
Doom was good. But hold on, Wolfenstein was the original. Doom came after that. Doom was better. I agree with you. I agree. I like the guns in Doom better.
Oh.
First-person shooter.
That's such a specific critique. I like the big Buck Hunter game at the arcades.
And there was an awesome game, it never really caught on, called Heretic. And this guy, like, I guess he was a heretic. You know,
yeah, that was the game?
That was called Heretic. It was a first-person shooter mode.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. You just go around shooting zombies. You know, quite simple, right? Pick up money and guns and ammunition wherever you can find it. Yeah.
What a game.
No ram. No ram.
Ramin could be a stand-up, I swear.
Ram's so killing me, bro.
He's always killing it.
Duke Nukem says Odyssey Fights. That was my favorite, okay? So Duke 3D, that was by far my favorite. Yes, that was the OG game. But before that, obviously, came Wolfenstein, came Doom, Doom 2. There was a whole bunch of first-person shooter there for us old heads.
Yeah, interesting stuff there for sure. Yeah, congrats on that Google long. You didn't have to search for a profit taker on that one.
Sharif saw the moon landing. Bruh. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm from the age of the space shuttle. Come on. Like, I was born when the space shuttle was around. Give me some credit here, man. I'm not that old.
Challenger?
Yeah, I know. You just had to throw that on there, huh?
I didn't mean it like that.
Because it's from the 80s, right? So remember, are you talking about the one that blew up?
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean
I think that was 86.
86, yeah.
That was
well, no, because they
86,
did the Punky Brewster episode on it, yeah. but which was really weird when you think about that for like more than 1 second. But yeah, so also this futures here, oh, look at these TQs. I was like, maybe we're gonna go short, and the TQs were like, please don't, Adara. Moving to the upside, nice little volume candle here. Let's look at their big sister, the Qs. Yeah, the Qs, nice move back in volume. And honestly, if you look at this, look at the volume in the green candles compared to the red for the last 30 minutes. The green candles absolutely outpassing the red in terms of this volume. So I think the volume is taking a little bit of a bullish tilt, at least here on these markets. So thank you. I want to really shout out to Kyle Burdett in the chat for pointing out, like, looking at volume on the futures before you trade some of these stocks. So that's been hugely helpful to me. So I don't know if you're in the chat, but shout out to you, big Kyle Burdett. I tried it. But yeah, so there we go. Also, I want to say too, I did get AT&T because it was just not the place for me to be. I could tell we were going to break up that high. Took a couple pennies there. Lost a couple pennies there. But I was like, you know what, Adara, would you rather just get out here when you're already seeing that higher low, or do you want to lose even more when you can tell this is just more of a bullish trend? So that's what I ended up using. I ended up scalping out for a slight loss, but that's okay. We're up on the day, and our spirits are very much elevated. I've just been really enjoying
Adara, I just need to cover Apple.
Please do.
Apple is flying to the high side. I didn't see this happen. I just looked over to the Katina man. I'm like, did you see Apple? We were joking. I was kind of half joking when I said I'd short 170 on Apple. I didn't think it was going to make it up there. We were in the 167s when I said this. 169.28 HOD. Obviously, it's retracing a little bit now. Let's see if it holds 169. That's number one. Number two, does it make its way to 170? I know there's going to be a lot of people looking at that 170 short. I know that there's likely going to be bamboozlement, but we're going to try to weasel, finesse, whatever word you want to use, our way into the short, perhaps maybe waiting for the initial pop and drop. I'm looking, again, I want to keep mentioning this because I think it is a good trade to have. With the overall climate being the way it is right now with Apple, we got more data points from them the last couple of days vis-a-vis that Chinese analyst that the Vision Pro shipments were being dropped off. That same analyst about a month ago told us that iPhone shipments were being reduced because of this analyst covers the suppliers, like the Foxcons and whatever that they have there in China, and he gets their data from them, so it seems to be a bit of a leading indicator. Anyway, so I feel the overall climate still for Apple is negative. That is until we get something different on the AI front. So 170, I will be looking to short if we make it up there, 169.28 HOD. It's moving up in the exact same way that literally everything else is moving down. We may see 800 again on NVIDIA. We are at 804.72 now, LOD on NVDA. We're also fighting 17.6 on the NQ June contract. I saw Dan the Man Emmons tell me he's out of everything a second ago. 17.607 is yesterday's close. And then we obviously know the 100-point level being a very important level as well. So I'm watching all this stuff. Apple counter market and the market giving up the entire ghost today, Adara, that big move up that we had as a result of Tesla's earnings, all being given back.
Yeah, there are not a single ghost to be found here. Market giving it all up there. AMD mentions Adrian. AMD short. I mean, yeah, enough said. Congrats to you if you got this. Not one, but two topping tail candles here. 157, then again at 156.50 to show, hey, the bears are roaring here to the downside. So lower highs. I heard someone roar. Lower highs, lower lows here. Trying to curl up a little bit here with these slightly bullish candles here, these wicks to the downside, but the volume isn't really backing this up. To me, AMD definitely one to watch for the downside move. So thank you to Adrian for pointing that one out. This one, pretty clear move to the downside. Tesla, Sean's still in Tesla, but also let's talk about Neil. Well, he'll talk about his lesson of the day. That transition was rough, but here he is.
This segment and lesson of the day is brought to you by Alfonso AI. Want to beat the markets? Then you need Alfonso's AI-powered stock ratings. Their top picks have surged over 100% since October 2022. Scan the code, get your 50% off. And right back into it, we always talk about strategies. You need an idea first. You need a reason to get into a trade. What is your edge? Maybe it's a particular trade setup. Maybe you like to trade a specific news event. You like a gap and go. You like retracements back into VWAP. You like bull pattern, bull flag breakouts, whatever they might be. Sometimes you want to be able to adapt them. And the other thing you might like is trading a particular name at a certain level or a certain direction or a certain trend. How do you take a strategy that works in one place and then transform it somewhere else? And I'm going to use this example here today for a breakout setup that didn't really happen on the stock that I wanted to, which was NVIDIA, but it ended up happening on Tesla. Come to my chart for a second here. That is not mine. Here we go. So look, NVIDIA down today, so it didn't really give you the patented breakout setup the last couple of sessions where you have a false bottom. I've loved this one. False bottom at the open. You go into higher lows, into a double or triple top breakout. It's been gold on NVIDIA. I could show you multiple instances of that trade, but specifically for myself, I've been trading this on NVIDIA and really NVIDIA only. And when I tracked it back, it's like 11 for the last 13 times in the last couple of months. That setup has worked out for me off of the open. But sometimes you want to ask yourself, okay, well, if I see the same thing set up like it did on a quick little 165 break on Tesla, well, what do you need to join these two strategies together? First things first, is the setup even there, right? So if you're going to look for it, don't try to force the action. Is it even the same technical setup? In this particular case, there's your break of the low. You've already got a higher low put in. Whether or not I would suggest, the later move at 165, you could force the action here and say this 163.5 was also the same setup, but certainly the 165 fits the pattern. The scalp trade, get in, get out, that works. But it's not that simple. The other thing you have to consider is the opportunity similar? Now, NVIDIA is obviously it's a more expensive stock, but both Tesla and NVIDIA are going to have outsized move opportunities. NVIDIA has had a couple of 5 to 10% type days in the last couple of weeks. Tesla, because of earnings, is gapped up 10%. So you've got the volatility to make it in the same box. The other thing, and this is probably the most important if you're transferring strategies, what's the liquidity like? Because if the liquidity is not similar between the two stocks that you're trading or the two instruments that you're trading, then none of this matters. Because if you're transferring a strategy like a breakout strategy, well, then you need to be sure that when it breaks that even dollar level, you can get a fill within reason from your price. So if I'm breaking at 165, am I getting something in the first 20, 30 cents? On NVIDIA, maybe it's more like the first 50 cents. Is that the answer? Yes. If the answer is no, then the risk to reward is going to be off on your trade. You can't treat it the same way. The other aspect is liquidity on the way out. Like when I set a stop order back through, am I going to reasonably get out, or is there going to be a vacuum underneath? And the easiest way to be able to test that is when you look at something like a Tesla. Where's your liquidity? You can see you don't have a lot of thousand lots, but you've got like a decent sized 2 to 3 cent spread on it on a $150 stock. NVIDIA is very similar. It's a little more expensive, so you have a little bit more of a spread, but the relative spread's the same. 2 to 3 cents is about the same as 5 to 20 cents, or 15 to 20 cents in this particular case at most times. And the liquidity is similar. There's a little bit less on NVIDIA, but relative to price, you're going to get about the same. Now, if I were to pull up a DJT, just for example, you're going to find different liquidity. $30 stock with a 10-cent spread, so it's a little bit wider. You want to ensure that when you are transferring strategies, the risk parameters are going to follow with it. It's very, very important when you're doing that. Now, it's not going to be that simple as always looking at the level 2. I find the best experience is have you traded it or not? If I'm transferring the strategies, I'm much more comfortable going from one setup to another if you've actually traded the stock. And a lot of times you'll see during earnings season, you'll like certain setups, but you've never even traded the stock before. And I know this happens all the time, but I know this happened the other day on something like a Shopify. Like I've liked Shopify a few times, and then I pull it up, I look at the level 2, I see, oh, the moves look good. Technically speaking, I like pop and fade. Look at this, it breaks the high, breaks out the bottom, and you're good to go. But relative to volume, when I pull it up in the first half an hour at the open, it never quite has the liquidity of the same $70 stocks that I look at. So until I was comfortable trading it, I don't necessarily want to jump into it at that open. And this is just a random example of it, because it's not just about transferring the strategy in itself. The pattern's going to be there. You like the pattern, you take the trade. Have you traded it before? What are the executions going to be like? What is the slippage like? It took a while for me to get comfortable with the fact that ARM has a totally different profile getting into trades, one that I've had to adjust to. I'm not much of an average in to positions or always want to take multiple fills into positions. But I know ARM, with its liquidity, is vastly different from other $100 stocks. The spread is pretty much always double digits when I'm trading ARM. It's only $100, but the spread will be 10, 15 cents at times. It's not really broken a level. Like this consolidation, if I'm trading, let's say, an Intel, then this consolidation, I'm shorting here and just getting out and waiting for that. With ARM, it's probably not done or dead until it gets into this level, breaks out 102.5. That's just how the stock moves. Because of that spread, it'll run stops by an extra 20 cents anytime it wants to. So I have to make an adjustment and be willing to get in half or a third at a certain price and wait for another move to get the absolute best entry point. And that's just an adjustment. That comes with the experience of trading a stock multiple times, and then you can make that particular adjustment on that name. If you're not doing that, if you just want to transfer a clean breakout strategy or a clean technical strategy, then you want these things to line up. You want to be able to find it in the wild. You want to be sure that it's something that has a very similar liquidity profile. You want to be sure that it's got similar volume, relative volume at least, and volatility. Because if the opportunity isn't the same, let's just say NVIDIA versus Intel, right? Intel's less volatile. The same setup's not going to have the same opportunity. You don't want to transfer that in. You want to make sure, like Tesla and NVIDIA, that you'll have that same volatility for the upside of the trade. Then you can transfer for whatever strategy it is a heck of a lot better. So make sure that those things line up for you. It's always valuable to be able to just see something happen, a pattern in a chart or a certain trend, and jump in and join it as a trader. But make sure you're familiar with the stock, make sure you've checked out that liquidity, make sure it's something that you are comfortable with. I'm all for trading setups first, because a trading setup and the patterns that you're able to discern in the markets, they are your lifeblood. And once you've got a few of them working, you want to start finding them in other places, maybe in other sectors. Maybe you transfer it over to Bitcoin. Maybe you find something on futures and Forex, who knows? But you can't do that until you're able to find the similarities between your winning strategies. So can't say that enough. And the only reason I talk about it here, and it's your lesson of the day, is because it's set up perfectly, NVIDIA to Tesla, one of my favorite ones, and I didn't take it. And I should have taken it because Tesla was trading the same way, and it was an easy winner, that 165. So you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your missed opportunities, and then the next time it's there, you're able to hit it because you actually did that work. That's your lesson of the day. Transfer your strategies from one symbol to another, from one sector to another, but follow those key steps.
Down more, Katina Man. The Katina Man is short Apple 16911. Just before I continue, shout out to Neil. Thank you very much for the lesson of the day. I thought you were going to hit something there on your stream deck because I saw your hand up. But yeah, Apple, big retracement there off that big pop into 169.28 down. It goes again into 168 2/3. Keep your eye out for that 10-period moving average. See if it holds up there. Below that is 168 1/4. That is the 20-period. I looked over at Adair and I'm like, what do you think of this Tesla possible double bottom here at the day's low? The IB low is 158.30. And she's like, that's not my type of trade, bro. Do your thing. 21. No, she didn't say it like that.
I was like, I'd like to think I was a little bit nicer about it, yeah?
Yeah, of course. You're always nice.
Thank you.
But that's, I'm looking, I've got a dip trade set up there to defend that low of day on TSLA. We'll see if that comes into fruition. But what has come into fruition here is this Meta pop. Now, Meta's popped into the 10-period moving average. Every single pop into the 10-period on the day on META has been sold off. Not saying this one's going to sell off, but it is something to keep your eye out on. It is a possible trading opportunity, especially because we're about almost $4 off the bottom now. So if we were to turn around here, I'm not saying you can get a 4-banger, but there is that possibility. So keep your eye out on Meta. It's been weak, 1.5% to the downside. The chart pattern is also very, very weak as well. Retracing now into the 10-period EMA, and looks like it's finding its footing. Apple continues down into that $0.5 area, below the $0.5 area, actually, 168. I think we got 38s or 40s. So almost $1 off the top there on Apple, uninterrupted, three red candles in a row on the 5-minute Adara. I've got to do the lesson again, but I am now long the Cybertruck, so I'm going to send it to you while I have to manage here.
Yeah, I can do the lesson while you're long the Cybertruck if you want.
That's fine. I just need to see if it's going to bounce or not. Just I'll send it to you for a second.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, no worries. So also, I just realized I can continue to call the Tesla the Model 2 now, because at first we were like, well, can we call it the Model 2 because we don't know if the Model 2 is happening. But now Elon, like, oh, we're actually going to have some more of these affordable models being teased. So nice look there. But certainly no shortage of bearish movements either there. Sean seems pleased with the punch with his shorts there. Apple. Oh.
How many dollars? 100?
5?
Yeah, well, it was quite a few dollars.
Congrats there to Sean on those shorts. I love the alliteration there, Sean and shorts. But yeah, so Sean is short today, so shout out there. This TQQ trade, I was pretty proud of this. This was a 10-penny scalp. Proud of how I executed this. I said, Adara, you like I watched, I said, let's see what we do up here heading into 53.20, because that was a clear base earlier. And one thing I've been trying to do since I go live is I've realized there's not that many ranges in the market, but why do I like ranges? I like ranges because they have those clear support and resistance levels. So it's like, Adara, flip them. Flip it and reverse it. So I used the base here as my resistance for this short here into the previous low of day. So in a way, playing a different kind of range. Didn't get all the way into 53s as I was hoping. We got 53, I think 53.07s. We got in at 53.18. So 53.17, I think. We took like 10 pennies. Pleased as dang punch. Just proud of myself for being a little bit scalpier with it, because I think that's going to be how I have to trade. That's definitely when I feel the best. But someone is feeling and living his best life over there to my
Thank God
right.
Ram didn't get me doing that. Like, I thought she was definitely going to be on that, but I'm like, no. Nice try, Ram. All right, nice little trade there on TSLA. We just took like 30 pennies there on that nice little pop. It dipped aggressively. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was gonna break aggressively like that. 158.17, right back into the 60s it goes. I think it printed as high as the low 70s there. So we'll just play that scalp super quick on a predefined level. So simple as that. Now, let's get to the lesson. All right, here it is, baby. We're talking about breakouts with confirmation today. Bull flags is what we're talking about all week. So view this whole lesson within the context of bull flags, obviously. So the bull flag beckons with a potential price surge, but wouldn't you feel safer if you had some reassurance? I know I would. The breakout with confirmation strategy addresses this by adding an extra layer of security before entering a long position in a bull flag pattern. That's what we're going to talk about today, how to get that added layer of security if we can get one. So as we typically do, just what is a bull flag for all our newer traders or those who haven't joined us this week yet. So imagine a bull about to charge but pauses to gather its breath. This pause is reflected on a chart as a bull flag pattern. It forms after the price increases, almost straight up usually, followed by a period of sideways consolidation within a defined range. So a bit of a defined top and a defined bottom, and the whole thing is it looks like a flag. And that's what we're looking at here. So you see this big move up here on Bitcoin off 39,000. It pops into 45, and then we get sequentially lower highs and lower lows for a period until we get that continuation through the break of the upper trend line, and that's the continuation we're looking for. So why is the bull flag pattern important? Because it is a continuation pattern most of the time, okay? Nothing is 100% foolproof. So when we see this kind of pattern, what we can gauge off it is that, what happened? We can gauge off it is that it's gonna continue north, and we'll talk more about that. All right. Exciting breakouts. They're exciting, but they're risky. I mean, it's the truth. So a standard breakout buy involves entering a long position when the price decisively breaks above the upper trend line of the flag, and that's what we're looking at here. You get long once this area breaks on a closing basis, okay? While exciting, breakouts can be risky. Some price Sometimes prices might tease a breakout, but then fall back. We call that a fake out breakout, and that's what's illustrated right here. You have that same bull move with the pole up, the downward lower highs, lower lows, that consolidation channel, or the parallelogram, and then you did get a break. You got a break on a closing basis above that upper trend line, but then look what happened. The embezzlement came in fast and it came in furious, and you got a big boy huadunk, and you filled that entire move up that you gapped up on that big pull on the bull flag. So you fill that whole thing, and that is a fake out breakout, and that's what we're all concerned about. You think you're doing the right thing, taking the breakout from the top end of the range on the bull flag, only to watch as the market moves against you. Not a good feeling. So the confirmation aspect of this is trying to add that other layer of security. So the confirmation strategy involves waiting for an additional signal after the initial breakout to validate the upward move. Here are some common confirmation techniques. There's the bullish candlestick pattern. So when you get the breakout from the upper trend line, is it being done on a hammer candle, a bullish engulfing candle? That usually takes two candles, obviously. But is there something there on the candle through the break of resistance that's showing you, yeah, this looks awfully bullish? That's what you're looking for there. And to know that, you have to be apprised of the bullish candlestick patterns. So go and learn those candlestick patterns. They're all over the internet. So you needn't really get that information here. Okay? But there's also the increased volume that you could be looking for. So ensure the breakout is accompanied by significant increase in trading volume. This confirms the strong buying interest and reduces the chances of a fake out. So when you look at the breakout of the upper trend line, is it being accompanied by above average volume? And you're going to say to me, well, what's above average? Look to the consolidation area when it was moving sideways or down and to the right for a bit after that big move up. Is the volume on the breakout higher than the average of that consolidation area? That's really all you're looking for there. Not a high standard. And there's a price retest as well. I love this one maybe the most. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but John J. Murphy talks about this specific look here in his book on what's it called? Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. What he talks about is getting that break, like this is over here, like getting that break through the upper trend line and the price kind of getting some distance away from the breakout area, but then it comes right back down to it and retests that same area. That's what you're looking for. You're not always going to get that, but if you do get it and it does bounce off that area, that's another good check mark to have beside your list of things you want to see, right? So the price retest, very important there. Keep that in mind, okay? Some things beyond the basics, though, and things that you may encounter are obviously these missed opportunities. Waiting for the confirmation, can lead to missed trades if the price moves quickly and after a breakout. That is certainly the case with small cap gappers. You're typically going to either have to be watching them or have resting orders at key levels. But there's also multiple confirmations that come into play here. While one confirmation is good, like we talked about, maybe volume, maybe the price retest, whatever the confirmatory tool you're using is, one is good, but more is better. Multiple confirmations, example like a bullish pattern, increased volume, price retest, all these things coming in hand, these can provide even stronger validation. And so keep your eye out for more confirmatory indicators. And always have a stop loss, guys. Even with the confirmation, you have a whole bunch of confirmatory indicators on your side. Even with that, the market can be quite unpredictable. Always use stop loss orders in order to limit potential losses, goes without saying. And joining late. This is a real thing, especially for bull flags, when you may have missed the breakout from the upper trend line. If you do miss the initial breakout of the bull flag and still want to get involved, do your best to avoid the FOMO. Wait until you see a sign of continuation, like a clear support level or higher highs and higher lows, before you jump in. And another bonus tip, consider the time frame upon which you trade. For shorter term trades, a single confirmatory indicator might suffice, but if you're looking to swing trade or are trading off a larger time frame, look for multiple ones. Obviously, when we're intraday trading, we're not looking for as much as we would if we were looking for, a swing for 3 weeks or 3 months. I hope that helps everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much for going over that. And I think the time frame is certainly a really key thing to keep in mind.
Okay.
In terms of also for flags, like looking at, these patterns are fractal. So look at your bull flag on different patterns or different time frame charts and see what is shaking there. So I appreciate you saying that there. Thank you very much to Sharif for the lesson du jour. Also, I am trying to get involved in this NVDL. And the reason for that is I think there is something brewing here. Knowing me, we all know I will not be in this for very long. But I do like that we have this kind of base here of that 32 area. And I'm not seeing really lower highs and a flat bottom, which is why I'm okay being in this. I do think we could have a bit of a bounce up here, at least until we get into that 32, well, let's see like 32.25s. I'd be pleased with punch. If we break below like 31.90s, I'm going to give this about 10 pennies and I'm going to have to get out. And I think I will probably have to get out. So, but you know what? One thing is like you always want to try stuff, right? Even if it doesn't work out, sometimes if you like an idea, it's worth it to try. A scared trader is a deficient trader, as Sean often says. And that's one thing I'm certainly learning from. Right now, though, we're holding these 88s pretty well. And no, we're going to get out. We're going to get out. Okay. Buy NVDL. Out VDL. Nice to see ya. Not nice knowing ya. On to the next trade. They're slightly down on that name now, but you know what? Always more opportunities to make trades, and happy I took it. Could have managed it a little bit better, but happy I took it, and happy I took the opportunity to try with that trade. Auction close, says 1320 bull. Yeah, we do have the 5-year note coming in at 1 p.m. So we will let you know when we see anything on that. Yeah, they said out of NVDL. I also want to mention AT&T though, because Elon, Stitch Lady, some other people in the chat I know definitely involved in this name to the upside. And shout out to you. I had a small loss on this one earlier. Just didn't work out, but yeah, it's all good. I think like I like the idea of this range, but I should have also been cognizant of the double bottom and the fact that we did have a higher low. And I'm also cognizant of someone fist bumping next to me.
Yeah, and I'm kind of upset.
Oh.
I'll tell you the truth, because I should have had a way better price. Down goes Meta. Again, nicely in the money on this one, about 40 pennies or some odd in the money. I really wanted the upper area of that retracement. I'm talking about the 20-period moving average on the 5 on META. Wet my beak on some profits there, but down it goes again. This is, I don't want to look away because I may need to take some profits, but this is what I was looking at, guys. So we talked about the 10 period being that area where everything kept holding up, and this is the area that I wanted. I wanted that 20 period right there, and I didn't get that 20 period because I was late to the party. So I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to watch this. I literally watched it drop $1. So I got in, and then, yeah, you don't really want to chase these ones. Anyway, we'll see exactly what we get here on META. But the Katina man astutely pointed out that Tesla was right back at that day's lows. In fact, Katina man, we did break that 158. That came and went. 157.90 right now on the day is the low for TSLA. So I will keep eyes on that. I'm just going to send it to you for a sec while I put my beak wetters.
Yeah, go ahead. So Preacher Man saying, when you say pennies, how much are you talking? I mean, it really depends. I just thought that was an interesting comment. Yeah, sometimes like for AT&T, I literally was like 2 pennies. Like that was actually how many pennies it was. Generally, I think pennies is like a small amount of pennies. I would think it's a scintilla of pennies. I would estimate it's probably below 10 to 20, but that would be my estimate. Of course, everyone is going to mean something different when they say pennies. But yeah, that's the take on that. NVDL, we did lose more than we wanted to. I was trying to lose about 10 in the scuffle there. We lost about 15 pennies, but that's okay. We're still up on the day, and you know what? I'm still happy I took this trade. It didn't work out. In retrospect, it probably was a bit more of a bearish move anyway, but I did have my reason for taking the trade, which was we held this really well. Big sister, NVIDIA, was also holding it really well. And we know NVDL does look up to her big sister, so I was like, maybe there's an opportunity there. I did like these failed wicks to the downside. I thought there was a shot. There wasn't a shot, and we moved on. You know what I mean? It's just like that. Trading, that's how it goes. You get smacked around a little bit by these markets. You just have to keep pushing forward. So shout out to NVDL for giving me a little bit of a wake-up call there today, but we're going to keep trucking. We're going to keep pushing. NVDL, I would like to take short, though, because if you come back to that previous resistance area around 31.90, 32, and we hold this and then break to the downside, I want to get involved. Romney Machado, thank you for joining and welcome to Trader TV Live.
Yeah.
We love the Live family here, but I know someone probably has a trade that he wants to talk about.
Yes, I'm happy with this trade. I got to be honest with you, but I'm still. I just finished talking about how disappointed I was that I didn't get the price that I wanted. You know, it was not lost on me that the deeper retracements typically retrace on the 20. And I've been saying that for a while here. And there down goes Meta again. Go Katina man, baby. 488.25. Look, the low on the day is 454.58. So there is still quite a ways to come into the lows if we are to retrace into the lows. So, I mean, that's where my profit target would be if we were looking towards that kind of trade. That 491, essentially 491 rejection here on the 5-minute, where the 20 period is hanging out, was a good prediction there. So I'm happy with this one. We'll keep eyes on META to see if it presents more opportunities. But I got to tell you, there is another opportunity here brewing, and I don't know if anybody's going to take this, but 800 is coming in on NVDA. Now, we dipped into 865. We're right back into 802, but moving $2 on NVIDIA is moving like 20 pennies on Apple, right? I don't know if that's actually accurate. I'm just saying tongue-in-cheek stuff here. But 800 could be an interesting dip and hold on NVIDIA. Now, this isn't the first time we've been at 800. You'll recall last Friday we absolutely tanked into the close there. I'll just show that reflected to you over here. We did have a big breakdown on, where am I at here? Yes, we did have a big breakdown below 700. You'll recall, what day was this? The 19th. That was Friday. The high there was 850, and we ended up going as low as 756, so almost $100 worth of range on the day. And you'll notice here on the 4-hour that NVIDIA came right into the 50 period and found resistance. So it pays to chart on multiple time frames, guys, right? So you could have these levels ahead of time. Anyway, 50 period coming into play on the 4-hour and tanking NVIDIA off that 845, all the way down now into 80. Where are we at? We're at 802, 803 or change there. So good look for NVIDIA and the shorts today. I'll be looking for that 800 if it comes in. Let's go ahead and put the alert, because I don't want to get caught off guard here. Not like I'm going to take this with any vigor, to be quite honest with you, because it is so mid-boozling. We may take NVDL for this 800 hold here on NVIDIA. So keeping an eye out on that. What else is popping off? Softy is now negative on the day. We were talking about how Softy initially, even though it was putting in lower highs and lower lows, it was still positive on the day. That was when it was above 407 2/3. And now it's well below that. It actually broke down below 407, 406.83, the low. And the pop, by the way, into the 20 period there absolutely paid, because you had a deeper retracement, deeper than the 10, where the majority of retracements end up topping off at, and you got a deeper retracement into about 408, and then you got paid because it dipped down into 406.83 there. So we'll keep eyes on the soft one today. Big Kyle Burdett, $4.99 super chat. Kyle, you completely spelt my name wrong. Thank you. Sharif, SPY, still short from 507, added into every pop on the way down. Can you play Lady in Red? We'll get demonetized, Kyle, if we do that, because we don't own the rights to Lady in Red, but I'm singing it in my head for you. Shout out to you, Big Kyle. Perma Bear, Big Kyle Burdett, absolutely printing on the day. Let's have a look at what he's talking about there so everyone can see what Big Kyle's printing on. 507. Let's pull up the SPY. You can see 507 literally is the top end of the range on the SPY, which is the S&P ETF, in case you're newer to trading. Shout out to Big Kyle. That's one hell of a short there. And he said he was adding on every pop on the way down. So my man's looking like he's got size. Kyle, looks like we just printed the low of days there on the SPY. 503 1/5 is the low day. We're coming into that $0.50 level again. Shout out to you, big man. Keep printing.
Yeah, congrats to you. Shout out to you there, Kyle Burdett. I am not involved in anything right now here. I'm looking at the TQ. Well, no, sorry, I am involved in TQQ. Oh, wow, I need more coffee. I am short the TQs, and this was a planned trade, so clearly I will have to sip some coffee here. But yeah, I like this because we came up, we had a little bit of a struggle here with the 53 area on the TQs, which for the Qs is going to be that 424.50 more or less. Yeah, so broke above that now. Getting a little bit dicey. I want to watch what we do at this 15 area, because to me that was a massive area of resistance earlier, and I should have taken this short again on the Qs instead of trying to go long NVIDIA. But you know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. All I can do is learn from these trades, and I will say, and I've talked about this a little bit, in my this is my 8th day live trading right now. Because I think one of the thank you, appreciate that, is one of the hardest things I find is not trading your P&L. Because it can be so hard. You're up on the day, you want to take more trades, but it's like, Adara, if you like a trade, take the trade. Because as Sean always says, and I'm sorry, I'm always repeating this, a scared trader is a deficient trader. And I really, we do not want to be, or I do not want to be a deficient trader over here. So just trying to take these TQ shorts. Let's see what happens. Also, I have a slightly elaborate TSLA plan here, and I want to talk it out because there are a lot of lines here. I want to start building a short position on TSLA. I have enough for 3 to 4 B quitters, should this all go according to plan. Initially, we're going to get involved at 41s, then get a couple more shares at 43s, then some more at 45s. This is not a large position. I'm adding, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to build it like small pieces at a time, little breadcrumbs. And if we break above here into this 47s area, we're risking very little. Then I will have to get out because that was a massive area. Maybe we'll give it 50s. It's TSLA. We'll give it 50s. We'll see what we do at the 650 area, which was that massive point of resistance on its big sister TSLA. And I honestly don't know if we're going to get filled. I think this plan is probably a lot more elaborate than TSLA will allow me to fulfill, but I'm going to keep it out because I do like the idea of this trade, and I don't want to move it any lower. This will only work if we get it filled, and if not, you know what? I'm still proud of the idea and the impetus behind it. So, as you were saying though earlier, it's like, ideas are one thing, being able to do the trades is another, right, with Apple, but it's like, ideas I think still
100%.
are worth noting sometimes.
Yeah, and as a result of that, me having lack of ideas, I've taken to charting at night so that I can have those predefined levels. I come in, I know what the levels are, I have a bias, and if I don't have a bias, I tell myself if-then statements. Remember when Neil was talking about his if-then statements? If 180 holds, I do X. If 180 breaks, I do Y. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do. We'll see how it does. Now I am doing that in the sim. I'm coming in the morning with these levels, I'm putting them as resting orders, and I'm letting them work. And I'm coming and I'm looking at the results to see what the results are. And after a month, I'll report back to you guys and let you know if it's working, if it's jiving or not. All right, we haven't looked at these small cap gappers in a while, Ram. So maybe we should have a look here. So Amir was telling me to look first. Before I actually mention that, I want to mention what Dan and Emmons said and Big Kyle. Big Kyle is looking to take profits on his SPY short at 502.50. That's his first profit taker. Dan Emmons says, I think new highs of days are coming for the NQ. My pattern is the pattern. I don't know what that means. My pattern is the pattern? Okay. So I just want to shut them out with that. Now, with respect to the actual small cappers, I don't know, man. I feel like these are all selling off in ways that I don't like. Amir was telling me to look at BTO, and I said, Amir, look, it's too consolidative. It's just too sideways. Here's BTO. What the hell is going on here? What did he tell me to look at? Was it BTO or BOF? Excuse me. BOF. Thank you. I don't know why I said BTO. BOF. Here it is. I said, Amir, I think this is too consolidated for me, my man. And here's the 5-minute look on this name. And BOF is what?
Branch Out Foods.
Thank you. Branch Out Foods and the eidetic memory strikes again. $8.5 million market cap. The float is 2.1 million shares. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about, Amir. I mean, we're a little bit above VWAP. We're a little bit below. We have a nice gap up there at 8 a.m. Looks like that's when the news catalyst hit. So, it's a little bit tougher for me to trade this. What's going on over there, Katina, man? On Apple? On Tesla? The Katina man covered more on TSLA. Is that? Yeah, go to Katina man. Should I describe this? What's happening here? So he was short into the sticky note level of 168, and then as you can see, there are multiple. And all those additions, Katina man, go back on the additions. Those are all VWAP adds because they retraced into volume weighted average price. So he's looking to. One was the 50 period he added at the red. And then that one is a VWAP retracement add on that Tesla short. So shout out to Katina, man. They're low a day on Tesla. It gets the break. Spin the money, baby. There we go. I love that. Appreciate you. Spin like that. If I was a viewer, I'd be pumped right now. I'd be like, yeah, Katina, man, spin the money.
You love the money button.
Yeah. He's stone cold chilling right now. Like I told you guys how Sean trades, how Neil trades when they're not on the show. They're usually quite quiet. You don't really hear too much out of them, right? And they're just doing their things 21. So It's all good there.
Thank you for that.
All right, I don't like any of these small cappers. So let's just call a spade a spade. The only one really that I think may have potential is Mullen. It just dipped into the volume weighted average price again and is holding that level. MULN, I don't know how much you can extract from this, but it has been putting in, not that aggressive of higher lows, but higher lows nonetheless. The last little dip there in the 360 all held up. I mentioned this area earlier. There was a consolidation low at 350, but I think we've kind of strayed away from there now. We're using 360 as low. It's printing 371 right now with an HOD of 409. So MULN, not your prototypical small cap gapper in the sense that we know about this bad boy, and it just didn't show up today. But yeah, I'm not really liking these small caps today, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, the small caps are certainly, they were a mixed bunch. And I can usually tell if it's going to be a big small cap type day, if it's small cap season, depending on what's happening when I go to do the small cap recap. So if I have way too many options, if it's giving me so many opportunities to look at different small caps, and I'm like, which ones do I choose? Then I'm like, hey, there's probably a lot of small caps. If it's 10, 10, 10, 20 over there, and I'm like having to parse through some not great small cap options, then generally I'm like, it might be a bit of a weaker day. Now that being said, there can be some small cap movers that come later in the day, but we do call them small cap gappers because generally they're gonna be ones that gapped up, right? So they were a little bit stronger in the morning is usually how that goes. And again, of course, not a science, but just my 2 cents there as someone who does not trade small caps and views them more strictly for the small cap recap. Also, proud of this Q scalp. I need to just do more scalping. Took about 10 pennies here, and I'm proud because this is the same setup I liked earlier. Going off that previous resistance, taking it into support. Then that support comes to resistance, and we take it out. So pretty happy with that. Please just punch. That's the type of trading I need to be doing more of. I guess you know what? I missed this opportunity to get this one from that 53.18 area I liked because I was too busy chasing that NVDL long that wasn't going to come to fruition. You know what I mean? So I think that goes to show that if there's a certain area you like, keep your eye on it, watch it like a hawk, and make sure that you don't drop it like it's hot. Susan Burns, 199 super chat about DJT. Apparently, Trump going after shorting practices there. I know that's been discussed for a while, but DJT today, about 3 million volume, and I have to say this is actually a really clean upward channel on DJT. Higher highs, higher lows, not a perfect double bottom, mind you, but certainly this 30, 60, 30, 80 area was ready for this move back to the upside, bouncing off this 90 MA beautifully, but then we kind of get a little bit of chop and churn. We get some interesting wicks here, a failure to break kind of above here at this 34. This could be a bit of a flag of consolidation moment. I don't have a clear read on this as of right now, but certainly finding a little bit of trouble at 34. Now let's look at the daily chart. Have we done this in the past? Yeah, this daily chart, a little bit of an opposite of the look on this intraday where we had that nice clean move up. DJT on the daily, nice move down. Then, though, we had a little bit of strength trying to hover like a little bird on a pole or on the power line there, this 90 MA. This actually could be interesting. We definitely have found some support at that 32 area for whatever reason. So, yeah, not a bad look there on DJT. Thank you, Susan Burns, for the super chat there. But, yeah, I think DJT right now in the intraday needs to definitely get above that 34 area because we are having a little bit of trouble with that level. Harry Lou asking, what do you need to achieve to graduate to live trading? Yeah, so there are milestones. I honestly trade very little a day. Like, I trade exclusively during the How to Trade show, right? So for me, honestly, my biggest focus right now is just learning.
Yeah, so the way to do it is you need to make $2,000. And when you're a trainee, so you can say to yourself, okay, so I had a minus $500 month in April, and I'm up 500 in May. Well, the way it works when you're a trainee is you're forgiven your losses at the end of every month, and you start anew until you accumulate that $2,000 profit target. But once you graduate, your losses are no longer forgiven. So if you're in the hole, you're in the hole, and you got to work out of that hole. So if you're in the hole $5,000 after you're a graduate, you got to break even before you can take home any money. So it's a kill what you, it's an eat what you kill type environment, and that's just the way the trading floor is. So, yeah, I think that's pretty succinct explanation. So we'll go on from there. Shout out to Real Trading, baby. All right, something's going on here with META. And you saw we were shorting off the 20, but look at this accumulation taking place at the 20. Now, this could be a 20-period accumulation, or more likely, to be honest with you, it feels like a 490 flat top or a 490 resistance area. Now, look at this area here that we ranged from around 1115 till around 1140. 490 was acting as a level of support. Now it looks like we obviously broke it aggressively, dipping down into 484.5, but now we're using this 490 for whatever reason as a level of resistance. Let's see what we do here. Do we tank and reject 490 and break this consolidation area low range of 488, or do we start curling up here and maybe make our way into the volume weighted average price? VWAP on Meta is like, I think, 10 pennies or 20 pennies above the closing print from yesterday. So the fact that the closing print, yesterday's close, and VWAP are in the same general vicinity makes it an awfully interesting price target if you are able to curl and start getting your footing under you on Meta today. We're down 1 1/3 on META. So I'm going to keep eyes on that. We've traded Meta successfully today to the short side on that 20-period retracement. If there is something to be had to the long side, I don't mind as well. Dude, you're $1 in the money on the Apple short. Shout out to you, my man. Apple absolutely tanked off that 169.28. And the Katina man took this short 169.11. And we just printed a couple of lows there. I think exactly at 168.11. I'm pretty sure I see that right. Is it actually 11? It literally is 11. It is literally 168.11 on that last candle. So shout out to him. There's a bit of an area top over here at 168. That's the area that we were dealing with earlier in the day. You'll recall 168, before it was a support level, acted as a key area of resistance. Do we find our footing here for Apple? None of us could really understand why Apple was moving counter market, other than to say maybe this May 7th event that they put out there for the iPad. Really, that's only it. But I'm going to be looking at 168 here if it comes in on AAPL. And did you see that we held 800 really well on NVIDIA? Yeah. So we didn't make it quite down to that 800. 866 was a low day, and we're $7 off that now as we come back into the 10-period moving average here on NVDA. But every single retracement on NVIDIA into the 10-period on the day has rejected. Just putting that out there. Keep your eye on the 10-period. And I would say for the deeper retracements, definitely that 20-period. That's the trade we had on Meta.
Yeah, I like that you noticed that NVDL 10-period hold, because that's the same thing that's making me nervous about this little baby scalp short. I was trying to take this into 90s, because that was certainly an area. But I should have been looking at NVDL's bigger sister, NVDA, before getting involved in this, because I don't like how we're resting on that 90 MA. I was going to get, I should have gotten out of this way earlier, but that's cool. We're getting out here now. Lost about 15 pennies. I just want to see what we kind of did there into 20s. So pretty happy with how this trade was managed. Could have managed it perhaps a little bit better. So I am down in NVDL, but still up on the day and still happy I took the trade. You know what I mean? But I think honestly, Adara, like the second you look at this NVDA and you see this bounce off that 90 MA, you should be getting out of your NVDL short. So that's a little bit, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a slap on the wrist for that. And the management could have been a little bit better as well, but that's okay. We're all good. Happy I took the trade. Happy I was able to get out of the trade, and looking for what else the market has to give me. This is honestly chops and churns that do not, follow specific ranges that are kind of moving all willy-nilly around this market. It's not really my type of trade, so I'm going to be pretty cautious and try to stay hands-off for now, although we do have that 5-year auction to keep an eye on.
Oh,
also, IBM here on watch. Thank you, Neil, for putting this up there as well. And also finding Mr. Pockets, HCP and IBM news. IBM said to offer $35 a share for HashiCorp, says Bloomberg. Ooh. So HCM, let's see here how we're doing on this one. Are we halted? Yeah, it looks halted right now in HCM. Slightly positive, kind of curling here near that VWAP area. Halted? No, it's actually open. Okay, so it was just trading really light.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
Oh, it is halted, okay.
I thought you said HCM.
Oh, I did say HCM. I meant HCP.
HCP. Sorry. Oh, look, no problem.
Oh, it is halted. Yeah, it is halted. Sorry about that, guys.
Yes,
it is HCP. I got IBM and HCP confused in my brain.
31.31 is the halt level right now on HCP.
Thank you. Yeah, so 31.31. Their tap for HCP is 32.05, and it's so nice to be able to see this stuff on the live as well.
Yep.
To be able to see the actual like tap
I know.
and stuff like that.
You don't get the tap on the sim, yeah.
Yeah, it's refreshing. That's why I was confused. 'Cause I was like, why is this HCM?
Yeah, I have 31. What do you have? Yeah, we're all live, yeah.
Yeah. Tap right now, 32.15, 32.20. So it looks like this was halting to the upside nicely. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay.
Bang.
32.15, 32.16. This is so much more fun to watch when you're in live, I have to say. Shout out to live mode. This is crazy. Nice move up here. Kind of falling a little bit off, though, on that. So this looks definitely like a bit of a scarier situation to be in. And this is why these, I was talking about this is why small caps and I are not besties, because you don't know when you're going to get those moves. Happened to me in the sim. I can only imagine if it happened live. IBM getting very interesting here. We got two of, I think the two highest volume candles of the day, or at least first and third highest volume candle of the day on this IBM. We had a little bit of that move down. Now with the news of this, we have earnings tonight, but also with the news of this HCP offering for $35 a share, as reported by Bloomberg. We're seeing kind of these chop and turns, but the range per candle, as Sharif might say, is a little bit intense on IBM.
Oh, yeah.
181.60. Like, this is like a dollar range per candle for an IBM. That is nothing to scoff at. It's pretty significant.
Not at all. Well, I mean, I'm not really too surprised now that there's a buyout in play. We'll have to see if our friend Lena Khan at the FTC will let this one go through. But keep an eye for 35. There is like a method to the madness for trading some of these buyouts. That is a trade on the floor here. We're not going to belabor that point, but it's not so simple. So just keep your eye on this name. Things could change awfully quickly. Now, we're doing the dance, Adara, with 17.6, and so far, it doesn't look like the Bulls are winning. So we did wick into that 17.6. You know how much I cherish these 100-point levels on the future. And right now, we're a little bit above and a little bit below. So I'm unsure what to make of it. Now, while we look at the future at 17.6, some other stuff has made key areas retracements here. I'm talking about you, NVIDIA, retracing back into the 20. Are you a short here? I'm talking also about you, the soft one, right back into that 407 and 2/3. Microsoft retracing into the 20, and even Meta, 490, a little bit above, a little bit below, retracing into the 20-period moving average. The deeper retracements on the big down days have been into the 20, so I'm a little unsure what to do here, whether or not we're going to start curling to the north side on the future, and that'll definitely push the price action above the 20-period moving average on these Mag 7 names. So I'm just going to stay put for now until I like a level a little bit better. I think that we should resolve one way or another here on the future. But then again, I always tell myself this, Sharif, you don't have to break above or below 17.6 or whatever 100-point level. You could consolidate at that level, and that's kind of the lesson I learned before I left for vacation, because I had a big red day trying to take the breaks either north or south on the future, just expecting it to have a directional movement, and it just chose not to do that. So keep watching that. So yeah, keeping an eye on NVDA and Meta at these levels. Possible shorts here. Also, the other possible short that you could be looking at is this 160 level on TSLA. We're inching a little bit higher now, 159.25. The 20 period on Tesla, which I'm not really that inclined to use because it hasn't respected it on the day, is that 159.58. So we're right back at the 20 period here for Tesla. VWAP on Tesla, though, which is another interesting area. I had a short earlier at VWAP on Tesla that was profitable, 162.15. It'll probably be around 162 by the time we make it up there, but we're going to have to get the $10 hurdle cleared first, and that is at 160 level. It's an interesting short at these levels, man, on Tesla. I know we've given up a lot here, 10%. Where were we up, like 16%?
Yeah, 16 at one point. Yeah, they were like, oh, this is best day in years.
Really, eh? That was the case. Okay, I didn't actually know that. So I'll keep my eye here, Meta, Tesla, and AMD, and NVDA, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get out of this trade before we get that auction in a few minutes here, but I did take the Q short. Not working out right now, but I'm happy I took it because this level I've been obsessed with all day. I've been yapping about this TQQ's level, this 53.18. It's worked as the short here, worked as the short again here, but I didn't take it. Then I was like, Adara, if you like this level still, try to take it. Initially, I did wait because initially we were holding it decently. And then I said, Adara, if we break above this 53.34, get out, because that was that clear resistance support area earlier. We tried, but we couldn't. So I still like this. And like I said, I think it's a little bit harder trading sometimes. This is something I discussed with Neil and Brendan on the market recap on Friday. But it's a little bit harder sometimes to feel confident taking these risks, even if you like the trade, when you're, you're worried about P&L, right? But it's like, if I like this level, I need to take it because, oh, sure, it could go against me, but also it could work out and do well, and you don't know unless you try. Right? And especially if it's a level I've been waxing poetic about all day, like this level for the TQs has
What
been.
does that mean?
Well, oh, it just means like you're like speaking all like nicely about it, like going on and on ad nauseum. That being said, I will have to be exiting the TQs. Oh, okay. What price did I get those at?
Yeah, we're headed up here. It looks
there
like.
we go. Yeah, I'm happy with how I executed this, though. You know what I mean? We lost in the trade, slightly down on the day, but I am very proud that I took the trade in the first place. And sometimes I think that has to be the lesson of the day.
Honestly, straight up, as someone who has suffered for many a year about pulling the trigger, it's really refreshing to see you being like, I'm pulling the trigger. Right? Yeah, because so many times, I can tell you, basically what you just said there was it could go your way. And watching it go your way when you're not in the trade is one hell of a feeling. It's a great feeling to watch all the profits.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
You're right. It's a good point. It's a good point.
So the winds of change looks like they've came in here on some of these futures position. Now you have Softy, Meta, and AMD all above the 20-period moving average as well as the future. And there's a lot of overlap between the chart on the NQ and the chart on Softy, Meta, and NVIDIA. There's quite a bit of overlap. They're basically all down to the right, all of them curling into the 20-period moving average kind of in the same fashion with the same shape. Here, it's just been such a long down day. It's hard to turn long bias now, but the charts are yelling at you that we've cleared 17.6. And now we're at 17.6 and a quarter. We're also above the 20 period. Really, the only thing that I see as, that really could get in our way that's really close to here is this 17.6 and a third. That is the bottom end of the consolidation area over here. If we get above that area, I think we could easily see 17.7, which is also where VWAP is. VWAP is at 17.695. So interesting look here, but we're going to have to get above these levels and close above these levels. And we just finished talking to you guys about fake out breakouts when you're looking for a key break of a resistance level only to get like a wick through and then right back down. That could be the case here. So we'll continue to, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this market. It looks like it is curling, Adara, but I don't really know what to make of this. And the thing is, I had set up a possible NVDL short, right? Thinking that, okay, NVIDIA is curling in to that let's call it 8.11 and 3/4. Generally the 20 period here, and I was setting up a short for that level. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with that and we'll give this a try.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just waiting for that bond auction. I was going to get short the Qs if we had that auction number and we fell below at that 53.35-ish on the TQQs. I don't know if I'm going to get it. If this range holds up, I'm interested. But, okay, we got the bond auction there. U.S. 5-year note yield, high yield, higher here than the prior 4.659% versus 4.235%. U.S. 5-year note bid to cover lower than the previous 2.39 versus 2.410. Thank you, Day Trader Cut, for putting that one out there for us as well. So yeah, basically not a huge reaction that I'm seeing right now in the market. The Qs continuing to range. And if we bounce off this level here, somebody's getting long. I would be that somebody. That would be me. But yes, we're gonna have to wait and see because I sometimes you have delayed bond reaction. So a bond auction reaction, I sound British. Sometimes you have a delayed reaction to the bond auction, so I want to be cognizant of that as well. But if we don't, I honestly can't say I dislike what's happening here. And you know what? We're going to set up a dip buy at 53.21 because I like it. And yes, that's a really specific level, but it's all good. I like support to resistance has been so key to me on the TQs, at least the little micro ranges I've drawn. So when the micro ranges come into fruition, because I love them so much, why dare I disrespect them? How dare I not treat them with the respect they deserve? How's your NVDL short going?
Flat on it at the moment, not really doing much. Yeah, I guess really waiting for the reaction from this bond auction over here. We'll see what we get on this name. I'm also keeping an eye on Softy because it looks like we did topping tail candle into that 408 or generally thereabouts on softy. Yeah, okay, so we did come into 408, retrace, not that aggressively into that area. It's Meta here who's really above that 490 area. That's the area we were looking here on META, and it's at 491 and a quarter. So I'm going to pack my patience there. In the short right now on NVDL, looking to wet our beak on some profits at the 10 penny level. So we'll try to pack our patience, I guess, really, with this name. It's about a 2 penny spread right now. There we go. We get our first beak wetter right now on that NVDL short. We'll see if we can get another move down, possibly maybe into that $32 area. That would just be aces if it hit in and around that area. Let's flip to some small cappers, see if there's anything moving. HCP still, near the highs there. It is halted again. HCP, let me put this on my side chart over here. HCP, there we go, okay. Sorry, I thought it was halted again. I was wrong, it just hadn't updated. It's trading at 31.90. The buyout price is 35, so do keep your eye out on that if you are looking for a trade on HCP. All right, back to NVDL here. Looking for that move down into 32 Adara, but I don't know if we get this big flush right now. Still above 17.6 on the future.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm looking long, but I'm looking long for micro range reasons. So definitely keep that in mind for that. I'm also looking long the Qs and not NVDL. Yeah, but yeah, I like that 32.40 level, and I like also because you mentioned that earlier. So I like that you're patient. You were like, hey, 32.40.
Let's
wait. Don't show up for me on NVDL. We're not getting involved. So I mean, I think that's very cool. Someone who's trying to be more that type of trader as well. I respect that because I've noticed my trades work the best. If I have levels, I'm just patient and waiting for. If I try to get into a trade on levels that I haven't studied so intensely, I find it doesn't always work the same. And one key example is going to be this NVDL long I tried earlier, right? And to be clear, I didn't mind what we were seeing here. I thought we had support, but it's like, also, Dara, you have kind of a clear downtrend. Plus, at the same time, my favorite TQQ short level was coming in. So it's like, why was I not taking this TQQ short off this level I love instead of going long NVIDIA at a level I don't care about? And now, I'm not saying you should trade in emotions, but I'm saying you should have confidence in your trades, right? When I say love, I mean a level I believe in. And I definitely believed in that TQQ's level, so that's why I should have taken the trade. So there we go. That is what I'm trying to say on that. T breaking out, says Elon, and that's another trade earlier I should have probably been a bit more cautious about. Yeah, nice look here on T. Little bit of a stutter step here. We pause a little bit, kind of stagnant, a little bit the dead one maybe for AT&T for about half an hour there. Then we rest on that 9 EMA, trying to break up above. Congrats to anybody. I know we have quite a few people in the chat involved in AT&T. Let's see if we break above the 1680 area, because that was definitely a little bit of a support area earlier. That would be a nice look, and congrats to anybody in the chat involved in this, and anyone in general involved in AT&T, because that's a nice look. Brad Gober saying that I missed the Disney range. Let's see how this looked on Disney.
Disney,
the House of Mouse. Oh, this is a really beautiful range on Disney. But you know what, Brad Gober, I wouldn't have traded this live because the stock is just more money than I'm willing to spend with my buying power right now. I'm going to be really honest, like just as I get more comfortable, you know what I mean? But I do appreciate you putting this range out here. This is a nice 113.40 to 116.35 range, and man, did it keep it coming. I totally missed out on this, so thank you, Brad Gober, for pointing this one out to me. Disney, I mean, yeah, I think that the House of Mouse is having a party over here. If you're a range trader, if you're an investor, you're probably sat at slightly down on the day, but basically flat around VWAP.
Are you in a position?
I am. I can do the lesson.
Okay. Well, yeah, no. If you're in a position, then we're good. Okay.
I'm actually not. I didn't get billed, so yeah, I can totally do the lesson of the day. Let's talk here about breakouts with confirmation on bull flags. So the bull flag can like back and be like, hey, come over here for a potential price surge. It's like, come, the water's fine. Come join the trade. And that can be really tempting. But wouldn't you feel safer getting involved if you had some extra reassurance? The breakout, I mean, Ramin's, and Fabian are on it with it. It's Ramin, right?
It's Ram,
yes, it
bro.
But wouldn't you feel safer if you had some extra reassurance? And so the breakout with confirmation strategy addresses this by adding an extra layer of spice, extra security before entering a long position, buying into a bull flag position. So by that we mean extra confirmation elements there before getting involved. So the bull flag refreshers, basically you just want to imagine a bull getting ready to charge, but it pauses to gather its strength, take a breather, and that pause is reflected in the chart as a bull flag pattern. a little bit of a stutter step, a little bit more of a chop and churn perhaps. And it forms after a price increase followed by a period of consolidation with a defined range resembling a flag. So here's one example. You have the flagpole, you have the flag itself, which can sometimes resemble a parallelogram. Usually if it's a bit more triangular, it'll resemble a triangle. It'll be a pennant. I just realized that was really redundant there. I said if it's triangular, it'll resemble a triangle. But yeah, nice little kind of rectangular shape, and then you break up here for continuation. Now also, and shout out to someone in the chat mentioning this as well earlier, with the pole, sometimes you can use the pole to measure the length of breakout. Now that's not always going to work, but it's something worth keeping an eye on, right? So let's say this was 39,000 to, I was going to say this has to be Bitcoin, 39,000 here up to 43,000 on this chart. So if you have that 4,000 point, maybe you think you're going to get a 4,000 point breakout depending on when you break up because you know the pole was 4,000 points, right? And that could be one way to help look at your potential profit taking potential there on your trade with the bull flag. But now let's talk about breakouts, which can be exciting but also risky. And a standard breakout buy is going to involve entering a long position when the price decisively breaks above the upper trend line of the flag. And this can be exciting, of course, but they're a little bit riskier because prices can tease a breakout, be like, hey, come over here, come, let's go hang out over the weekend. And then they can fail. It can be like a fake out. The plans fall through. Maybe the movie got canceled, not showing anymore. You can't go, and that's the same with breakouts. They can look really tempting. They can look like they're happening, and for whatever reason, they don't come to fruition. And so here's one example of a fake out. You have a very clear bull flag, very clear pennant, and honestly, partially a clear breakout. Then you see this bearish candle pattern start to form, and then we fall to the downside. So this is, an example of fake outs can be really real, and they're definitely something to keep an eye on. But how do you get some confirmation for your trade? You want to look at some added security, added measures to, cushion your trade and cushion your confidence in your trade. So a couple different things you could look at, including bullish candlestick patterns. So you want to look for these patterns forming after the breakout, like a hammer or an engulfing bullish pattern, which can suggest strong buying pressure behind the price move. Increased volume, also worth noting here as well. Ensure the breakout is accompanied by a significant increase in trading volume, which can confirm strong buying interest and reduces the chance of a fake out. Price retest, also worth noting, because sometimes the price can retest the breakout level briefly before continuing upwards, and this retest, if followed by renewed buying pressure, can be a good confirmation signal. And I really love how labeled this is. So you have, and this is white and red instead of like green and red, but you have your white candles to the upside, nice sustained uptrend, right? Giving you a sense of your breakout and your profit potential there on this flagpole. Then you consolidate a little bit here. You have smaller candles, and you also have some bullish candles. You have these wicks to the downside showing, hey, buyers are still here, guys. Listen up, buyers are here. Then we break out to the upside on a nice strong breakout candle. Volume here also really important. During the consolidation, you have lower volume because there's less interest at these levels. Everybody's waiting for the big move to the upside, at which point you do have some increase in volume. So I really like that chart. Shout out to wherever this chart came from. I did find it online. I did not make the chart. But also, let's talk about going beyond the basics, taking a level deeper into the breakout flags. So you do want to make sure you're confirmed with your trade, but that can also mean waiting for that confirmation can also lead to some setbacks, including missed opportunities, because if you wait for that confirmation, you could maybe miss your trade if the price moves quickly after the breakout or if you just don't have a chance to get involved. Multiple confirmations also really key here, because one confirmation can be good, but multiple confirmations are always better. Like, let's say you see a bullish pattern and increased volume. Those are two signs like, hey, these are things I want to get involved to in tandem with or in confluence with perhaps your flag. Now, and it can provide stronger validation. Now also, you want to make sure you always have a stop loss. Even with confirmation, the market can be unpredictable, so you always want to make sure you use stop loss orders to protect your little losses there or protect your profits. Also, joining late is worth noting too, because you could miss the initial breakout of the bull flag and still want to get involved, so you want to do your best to avoid FOMO and wait until you see a sign of continuation like clear support, higher highs, higher lows, etc., before jumping in. Now, you also want to consider the time frame of your trade. For shorter term trades, you're going to want to look for maybe one confirmation, but for longer term positions, you might want to wait for multiple. And of course, always remember the risks inherent with trading. Do your own research and make sure you feel comfortable with your positions, because ultimately, trading your own book is always going to get the best results, and you'll feel the most comfortable in the trade.
I couldn't agree more with that last statement there. Adair, thank you very much. Couple of updates. Long Apple at these levels, looking to defend this 168.50. We'll see what we get here. I've set up another dip trade on goggles. I want to take this short at 158 at the volume weighted average price. 158 has been a rinse and repeat level, but I really want to mention this. We're getting a bit of a rounded bottom now on goggles, on Google. So, you know, the NOS boss always talks about these rounded bottoms, and Big Kyle likes them as well. So yeah, let's be careful here because there could be something changing on this. So I'm going to put my order out at 158 for now. I've got it in front of the 158 actually, in case it doesn't make its way up there on Google, but I am cognizant of what it is currently doing. The other trade that I'm looking to get into is Softy. I'm looking to short Softy into VWAP. Softy had a nice little move up here, broke the 10, broke the 20, got above 407, got above 408 for the first time in a little bit. I know that 409 is still a ways away, but this is a $400 stock, so we could easily see 409 quite soon. 409 is the volume weighted average price. I am looking to short Softy if it does make its way right back there. But the trade I'm currently in here is AAPL, and I'm about 5 pennies out of the money on this monster as we dip below the 168.5. If this breaks 40, I'm out. It's going to have to maintain the trend of higher highs and higher lows for me to stay involved in this name. But we shall see exactly what we get on Apple on the day. Have traded this one to the north side and the south side today. So yeah, we'll see if we still have a read on it or not. And now, as I mentioned that, let me also mention this. These topping tail candles right now in the future are not very, they're not, like if you're a bull, if you're long bias here, they're not very comforting because number one, they come into a key area of resistance that you know from earlier. That's that 17.6 1/3, right? We had that level established at around 11:30, basically from 11:05 till 11:40 when we broke it down. Now we're wicking into that level and rejecting it. These topping tail candles all coming back down below 17.6 1/4. So unsure exactly how to digest that and what that is telling me in terms of direction for the market. So involved in one trade at the moment here on Apple, looking for a curl back, maybe in the 69s, maybe in the 75s. We'll have to see what the more, you know, realistic price target is. But if it breaks 40, I'm out. On top of that, I'm looking to short Softy into 409 and goggles into 158 Adair.
I love the nicknames for it. Yeah, nice look there. Right now, in terms of the, because I agree with you about the futures direction, I decided to go long for the time being.
Good.
But also, I'm a bit more scalpy. I want to put that out there as well, right?
Okay.
So we're going to stay in this a little bit lower. And you know what area I'm looking at. Look at where this line is. Yes, that's right. It's 47s or 53.50 on the TQs. But my reason, because I saw the same wicks that you noticed, they did make me nervous. But I also was like, Adara, we're kind of resting near that previous area. We do have that nice support there, that cushion of the 9 EMA, which is not always a level that's going to come into contact, mind you, but we were saying NVIDIA and some of these futures as well, we're having some nice little relationships and nice interactions with that 9 EMA, so it's something I wanted to check out and be involved with, right? That being said, though, we're going to have to get our profit taker set up. We're going to go for 44s. We're going to cool 12 pennies on this trade, which for the type of trading I do, I am A-okay with. Like I said, you know, I could wait for a longer move, but I just know the type of trader I am, I'm not going to be comfortable with that. I'm not going to be comfortable waiting when I could have just taken my profits. And I've noticed I'm way more comfortable taking small profits than bigger losses. So, yeah, I don't know. We're just going to do that. That's the way I'm most comfortable trading, and I'm trying to stick with that. Now, in terms of risk here, I like the bottom of this area, this 53.21. So we're risking about 11 pennies, trying to make about 12. Not the best risk reward, but with the scalping, I'm kind of comfortable with it for now. And I like the entry just for the quick in and out type purposes. Mac Jones, thank you so much. Mac Jones, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. They're about DJT apparently being mentioned at rallies there. So let's take a look at this. Also just got out of that TQQ trade, pleased as punch. But DJT, let's look at this one again. Okay, yeah, nice spike up for DJT. This is the daily. And as you can see here, we're basically making all of the gains that got erased yesterday during that sell-off. We're going to have to see, though, if we break above this 35 area. For whatever reason, this has been a bit of a level on the daily, because even look at the candle before it on April 22nd. That's Monday. We had that wick above into 38s, but we closed around 35. So 35, for whatever reason, a little bit of glue there, a little bit of intensity for DJT. I mentioned earlier, let's see what DJT does at 34, and it looks like DJT was a little bit of a bull flag in the wild here. We had a bull, let's say that we had this pull beginning here, 30, let's say like 32.80, then we come back up into here 34, so it gives you about $1.20 for your profit-taking potential, and actually the move up bigger than that flag pull, so not all flag-related setups are going to be perfect, but I think this DJT is a pseudo flag pull and a nice example of a nice bull flag breakout. Shout out to you there, DJT, for Mac Jones. Thank you very much for your super chat. Please this punch with the profit taking there. That was way too many words that started with the letter P in a row, too much alliteration. For my TQQs, and you know if we reject at 50s, somebody's going short and scalping it the other way.
I hate being long one mix and short the other one. It's not my thing. I guess maybe I'm so used to all the Mag 7 names moving together because there was a period in time where they all did. All the charts were identical. Short, softy, Google. 158 at the volume weighted average price, going to give this about 5 or 6 pennies. We'll see exactly what we get on the goggles today. We're also long Apple. Apple, you know, it's doing dead one things, right? Like basically I came back from the bathroom and it had done nothing. It had basically been at the exact same price that we were at when we left, but it looks like it may break 40s now. And if that is the case, we are going to get stopped out of AAPL for a 12-penny loser. Let's see what we got on goggles. A nice move back down on goggles off that 158 rejection. We saw that earlier. We took the short on, I actually took the long on Google earlier. Yeah, well, we were playing the range. That's really the whole idea here. There was nothing novel about this on Google. We'll see if we get that range break down into maybe $0.75. It has been a repeatable trade on the day on Google, 158 or the volume weighted average price, nicely in the money on this one. We'll see if we can continue to print on it. What is Apple doing now? I'm officially out of Apple as it does break down below that 40-penny area. So the dead one doing dead one things. Chad. The Katina Man is like, let's go, dead one. The Katina Man is short Apple at 168.11. Keep that in mind. He is short off the top there. The other trade that I've been eyeing down is this softy trade. So this whole idea here is to take the VWAP retracement into softy. So the soft one has a VWAP at 409.12, 409.10. We're still a ways away from it right now, printing about $1 south of that at 408.10. But if we do make our way back up there, I'm going to want all the smoke. Be careful what you wish for, maybe. Ooh. I shouldn't really challenge it that much, Dara. It is a $3 trillion market cap. You got to show the soft one some respect.
The soft one. I have to call it the soft one.
All right, printed on Google here. This is the trade that's actually working. Disappointed with that trade on Apple, but, you know, thought I'd give it a shot. Oh, Tesla is back above 160 again. What is going on here on Apple? Why am I long? Oh, crap. So I had another order. Okay, I see what's going on here. So I'm long Apple 152s. Oh. So 168.52 Katina. I'm long one share. Okay, so I don't know, for whatever reason, this didn't get me out of one share, but that's the look there. What's going on with you, Adair?
Yeah, so the triple Qs right now, I am still playing these. I like this range. Tried to get short to take it for about 10 pennies. Missed that by half a penny, which is really frustrating, but that's okay. Then I tried to get long. Wasn't able to get a price I liked. Right now, we're just going to wait. I don't have any levels on this right now unless we bounce off 50s. It's on my side chart. It's on my mind. And that's all I can ask for it ask of it right now. This is hard when, like, I feel like I've been a little bit bearish recently, and I think today the market certainly gave you reason to do so. But this NVDL, I think, on the upside, the opportunity to buy pops probably, or sorry, not buy pops, buy dips into the pops is something I like. Also, I do want to be cognizant of what we do at 32.90 because that was a little bullish candle earlier that I think would be worth noting. I guess like support is what I mean. We hit that wick to the downside. So that's a support area I want to watch. We're about 20 pennies away from it. So I do think this could be an interesting look here on NVDL. Right now, though, those TQ kind of range plays, like, you know, bouncing, coming back up into support, resistance, is probably the biggest thing I have on right now. But let's look at some of these Bitcoin names because I've been looking at those all day. IBIT. Okay, I see you, IBIT. I don't know what I see yet, but I see levels and I want to talk about them.
Okay.
So we had that support earlier here, 36, what is it, 36.95. Then it becomes clear resistance. Then we're here now again. Now, will we resist or will we find support off this 90 MA? I don't know yet. I want to be patient, but we have been in a bit of an uptrend since that pseudo double bottom in the 5-minute at 12.25 at the price of 36.68. So let's wait and see here. I want to find out what's going on, what's happening, and I want to see what this market is telling me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if anyone has anything else they're looking at, let me know, because I feel like I am running out of some ideas.
You want to look at this one? I know you're small cap gap averse, or kind of. AIRE. Have you seen this one?
I have not.
Jeez.
Whew.
Yeah,
that's a nice look, but that's a little bit of a topping tail.
Yes, it is.
That I want to keep an eye on here. I am not the small cap trader. I don't honestly always talk about this. I don't know how Sharif can get out of a small cap right before it halts or falls to the downside. You know,
happened a couple of times.
It's happened enough that it is worth noting. It's uncanny at a certain point. So shout out to Sharif for that.
Right.
But yeah, this air. We have that bearish candle here, but I want to see what we do at that 104 area if we get there, because look at the chop and churn we had in that $1 104 area. To me, that's a nice look if we're able to bounce off that. Also, that reminds me, speaking of names that had nice, interesting moves earlier, HPQ. On that news that trader was talking about, yeah, this one kind of died off. A little bit of a range. I definitely should have been watching this. Now kind of falling, trading below VWAP, or sorry, above VWAP, below the 90 MA. This could actually, you know what? This could be a flat bottom break. It's up on the day, mind you, but we did have what could have been a flag breakout that broke down. So you know what? If you take this, if I take this off the 90 MA, I don't know if it's going to be enough worth it for me, enough risk to reward. It's something I'm going to have to deeply consider before getting involved. And I really should have taken that TQQ dip buy, because that would have worked out, but that's okay. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Waiting for more opportunities. Yeah, I wish I had reads on stuff right now, guys, but waiting and kind of seeing what happens. That ARI is a nice look. But yeah, I mean, right now, just kind of waiting to see if there's anything that specifically works for me as a trader.
Okay. I'm short Apple, and we flipped on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I see lower highs. I mean, this is kind of why I got into it. I didn't really see an area of support that I absolutely loved at these levels. So we'll see what we get here. I'm also looking at Tesla. 161. I'd like the 162 a little bit better, not gonna lie, because that's where the volume weighted average price is. But there is a consolidation low from around 11 o'clock to when we broke that 161 level at 11:45 at on TSLA. But I'm gonna do that in a second, as now I have to keep in mind this Apple trade, as it is above the 50 penny area. Did not want to give this that much room. Yeah, so we're going to lose about 10 pennies a share here on the dead one, aka Apple. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's a bit of a consolidation here. So I'm going to stop trading this as if it is like not a momentum trade, but I don't want to say a range trade either. Basically, just a directional channel. I was kind of thinking we were on the way down with the lower highs and the lower lows, but that may not be the case here. We'll wait and see. 17,650 coming in on the future, so keep your eye out for that 50-point level. It could mean something. It could also mean nothing. So keeping an eye out there. Apple right back into my entry, and it looks as if Tesla, for a second at least, is rejecting that. Where the hell is my Tesla? Okay, I changed it. Is rejecting that 161, at least for the moment. Maybe not by that much aggression, but it's not breaking. It got right into 161, turned right back around down into 160, 65 or so. It's at the $0.75 right now. I'm keeping an eye on this 161 level on TSLA. It is a consolidation area bottom. If it ends up holding up, fantastic. If not, we'll look for another trade. We did curl into the 50-period moving average on the 5 on the NQ. Okay, which also is the 50-period moving average, which is the 50-point area. So it's a 50-period moving average and 50 points as well on that level. Let's go ahead here. So with Apple, right back down we go into the entry. Let's see if we can get a beak wetter at 33s or thereabouts. It's a bit of a tougher trade here on Apple. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a good read on this at the moment. It is kind of stuck in a consolidative range, but with topping tail and bottoming tail candles. Hard to understand for me. I'll keep my eye on it. SPY watching 505 to 505.50 area for a short entry, says Big Kyle Burdett. Shout out to Big Kyle. Let me know how that goes. We know that Big Kyle was short around that 507 area and held that bad boy from the morning. So we'll keep eyes on that. Goggles now has broken decidedly above 158. So this one's acting distinctly different. Shout out to the Obe, the one, the Canoe I saw back there. This one had been ranging below the volume weighted average price, literally the almost all morning. Saving except for this one pop here into the yesterday's closing price. But there goes VWAP. We take 158 and looks like we're headed on the way up. Keep your eye out on that 158 and a quarter, 158 and a third. That is yesterday's closing price and also a key area of resistance from around 10 o'clock today. So stuff to do here. We'll see exactly how this Apple trade ends up resolving. The other trade that I have that I possibly could have on is a 409 short on Softy. I am looking for a VWAP retracement and a rejection on Softy. That is around 409. That's about 30 pennies from where we're hanging out right now. That could be coming in soon.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at, and it's hard to know in what direction it's going to move.
Yeah, I really don't have an idea.
This NVDL, we're trying to scalp minimum 15 pennies on this, so let's see it move a little bit to the downside. Now I know a person would look at this and say, Dara, this is an upward trend. I agree, but that doesn't mean I can't short it till it bounces. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. I think that suits my style of trading. I think this bearish candle, which formed here, so we had like that kind of wick down here into this 3280. Now we reject the 3280 on a wick basis. That's the type of stuff I like looking for. We also had a bullish candle happening there at the time, and I don't know how it closed there, but the TQQ is also trying to look a little bit bearish. I mean, the TQQ was closed higher, but I think that NVDL definitely a better look there with that candle of rejection here. If we break above 3280s, I'm out, risking about 13 pennies, trying to make minimum 15. Again, my risk to reward ratios are unique, but they work for me, so all good on that. Let's have this NVDL head to the downside. That's one thing I want to work for as well, is trying to risk a little bit less to get a little bit more from my trades. Because I'm comfortable with what I'm risking on my levels, but it's like a Dara, maybe you want to try to get a little bit more profit. Then again, I don't want to overstay my welcome either, so it's going to be something I'm going to have to work on. But right now, NVDL knocking on the door of that 3280, which is not fun for me, but I have no reason to leave yet. So we're going to wait, we're going to stay, we're going to chill, and we're going to see what this market wants us to do. Also, yeah, I love Bennett Hall in the chat. It could mean something, it could mean nothing. That's the motto for trading. Yeah, so shout out to that there. That is absolutely the case. That is absolutely true. NVDL trying to break up here, and given that bullish candle we have in the Qs, I think somebody is going to have to maybe make an exunt from this trade. But we're going to have to wait and see what we do with 3280s before that, because we get there, then we reject again. You know, so we're going to stay for now. You know what, NVDL, you want me to stay? I can be patient. I mean, I can't, but in this case, I will for you, NVIDIA. I will try my best to be patient for you. What else are people looking at? I saw someone saying DocuQ earlier, so let's see if there's any, signs of life here, any signs of movement in DocuSign. So I'm just going to get out of this NVDA quickly, or NVDL, sorry. There we go, we're out of NVDL. This DocuQ, this is a nice look, continuing to the upside here. Higher highs, higher lows. Bit of a move down here, and then we bounce off this 90 MA here of 57.30. So this is a great look. This is one I want to take a look at the daily chart on, because this is always, oh, RIP my chart. That's cool. We'll get it back up. But yeah, DocuSign, I know there was those buyout rumors. This one was earnings, sometimes be a little bit reactive. So it's one I definitely want to see what we're doing here. That is for sure. And let's go to DocuQ on the NQ. Yeah, this is a nice. Yeah, an interesting look there on the daily chart for DocuQ. Previous support a couple times at this 57, 58 area. We're knocking on the door, just breaking above that 90 MA. I think we need to really break above and also have a higher high here above that support resistance level at, what is this, like 58.10? That would be interesting to me to kind of break this downward trend we've been in. But overall, yeah, that resistance level at 61, we definitely failed before. So a couple areas on the way.
Yeah, this market's getting like a whole new wind here to the high side, and we're at the 50 period on the 5 on the NQ, and it looks like things are happening here for the longs. I'm short Softy here at this level. I'm not going to give it that much more room. It's going to have to hold up at these levels. If it crosses my line, then it crosses my line. But the whole idea here was to take Softy on a dip pop, or a dip pop, hold on, that doesn't make sense. on a pop into VWAP and then a rejection of VWAP. But if the future keeps heading up, well, then we're going to have to really rethink that whole thing. So going to keep my eye out for Softy at these levels. I'm hoping for a rejection here and a move back down. We shall see what manifests. We almost made a 158 and a half touch there on Google, so it breaks well above that 158 and a quarter close from yesterday. So that's a good little retracement there from Google. And big move up actually off VWAP and off the previous day's close, which are all key areas of resistance. At least that's what I was charting. So we'll continue to watch that. Tesla did find resistance, or is continuing to find resistance, I should say, at 161. Again, for whatever reason, that was a period of consolidation low. This morning on TSLA 161, I see a bit of a topping tail candle on it, but let's be real. If we continue to head up on the future here, there is the likelihood that we continue to pop on Tesla, and that 161, we may give up the ghost on it. So I'm going to keep my eye here on Softy because close to getting stopped out. I think if this one breaks a $0.25, that's why I put my out on this one. And it's been dancing a little bit here at VWAP, not taking VWAP with aggression. So I don't want to get bamboozled and paper hand this trade. But if it's going to continue north, then obviously I want no part of it. So keeping an eye here. The future's at 17,666. That's a little ominous.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, ominous. I know. By the way, I did get stopped out of that Apple trade. Apple's just too strong, so it ended up breaking above the area where I had my stop. So that is done on that trade. So no go on Apple. I'm now negative on Apple after being positive on it to start the day. So we'll have to deal with that. But we'll continue to see what is going off on these Mag 7 names. NVIDIA short, says Big Kyle. I do like that. I do like that area of resistance that we have at 816 or 817. I don't know if you saw that, Kyle, but we had this range from 1105 till around 1140 where we use that level as a level of support. Now it looks like as it is acting as an area of resistance. So I'll keep eyes on that Adara.
Yeah, I'm in the NVIDIA short. I initially got out of the NVDL short because we broke above that 3280 area with the viciousness, and I said, I don't want to be here. I want to be able to look at stocks for other people and not have NVIDIA on my mind, stressing me out. But then I'm joking, I wasn't really stressed. I just got out cleanly. But then it was like, we had that level again. I also didn't love the price I initially had. I think I had like 65s on the NVDL short, which was definitely suboptimal. But then I got the opportunity to get 3273s. I like that much better. I still like this move to the downside. Then we had, I'm going to show NVDA to show this pretty bearish candle here, this wick to the upside, saying like, as Sharif was pointing out there. And I think also because it was around the 816, 817 area, there was a lot of confluence for me. I felt confident taking this trade. I felt emboldened. My out's going to be the same though, that 3280. And I want to say something as well, because someone said something in the chat once that I keep in mind that I think is very valid, and I forget who it was. It was a while ago. But if you get stopped out of a trade, don't try to enter in the same direction. I think that's valid, but I think also for me, sometimes it makes sense for me to consider why I got stepped out. In this case, my entry was really bad on that initial short. Like that 3265, it's like, Adara, what are you doing? 30, whatever that my entry was, right? I like 3273s much better, and I did watch to kind of see that failure of 80, so I had even more confidence that I could be taking the trade in a way that made sense for me. So that's why I think that NVDL trade, it might still not work out, mind you, and I do think it is worth it saying if the trade didn't work, why are you getting back in? But I think if you have your reason to get in or stay, and if you recognize the reason it didn't work in the first place was at least in part because of your approach to it, then I think it could be valid to try again. Of course, it's going to be to each their own, but that's just my take on that. So I just wanted to opine on that for a moment. Also, there was someone here, Wave Alchemist, I love that name, asking about ARM. So yeah, ARM, I just pulled up a firm for some reason, and I just did it again. ARM, there we go. We're just going to get out of NVDL here on the side because it failed here yet again. Why will it not let, there we go. But yeah, this is all good. We're out of NVIDIA, not a moment too soon because all these chips very strong.
Oh yeah.
ARM, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 minutes worth of upside here for ARM. All these 5-minute green candles trying to poke its little head above VWAP here, up 4+% on the day, but it's also worth noting, not just VWAP, we're coming into that resistance area here, or sorry, support earlier of $100.50 or $100.45. That was definitely an area of support earlier, so we'll have to see what we do. We're about 35 pennies away. Anybody who took this arm long from the bottom, shout out to you. You're up almost $3 now, so that is a very nice look there for ARM. Trying to strong arm the market, doing a little bit of a flex, a crunch there.
I just got strong armed off Microsoft. We were looking for that VWAP rejection. We didn't get it. It danced around it for a little bit, Ram, but then right back into that 409.5 it goes. Chart guys. Into that 409 it goes. We are approaching 17.7 and VWAP. So this is interesting here. Call me crazy, but I'm still looking short. I got to tell you the truth. So I'm going short Tesla here. Let's see if we can get a better price than the current one here on TSLA. We'll go short on this bad boy. I'm still thinking short here. Call me crazy, but I'm going to try my hand at the short on Tesla. Where did we get along? We got short 81s. Yeah, a lot of strength coming into this market. Yeah, Dan, you did warn. You said that there was going to be strength. Shout out to Dan, the man Emmons, futures trader extraordinaire. Let's see if we can wet our beak on some profits here on Tesla as it does come back down into that area. A lot of topping tail candles here on Tesla. That's why I'm inclined to look short on this name. Looks like we did come off 17,691 or 692 or thereabouts. That is where VWAP is on the future. But wow, okay, everything is headed up here. I think we're going to break to the high side. So I'm probably just going to have to get out of all these trades and yeah, rethink this whole thing because I think we're long at the moment.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to thank Mara because if I hadn't had this on my side chart, I would not have known where to turn here. Yeah, this one taking a nice little marathon to the upside. One thing that did terrify me was this big red candle, but I said to Dara, you keep seeing these bounce off the 9 EMA. Give it like literally 5 pennies. Yeah, I'm only giving myself 5 pennies here. I got it in 1950. If we break below 1945, I am getting out. We got to 1948 and then we bounced right back up. This is a scalp play. If we can't break above this, make a higher high here at this 1960 area, I'm getting out. I don't mind taking 10 pennies. You know what? If we take 57s, we'll be pleased as punch here. Scalp Nation, it is always scalp season for me. Summer, winter, fall, or spring, I will be scalping. So let's see. That actually rhymed, which was not intended. But let's see what happens on this Mara. Let's take a look at IBIT as well. I like some of these crypto names. I find for whatever reason, since I've gone live, I've really enjoyed trading these. Yeah, IBIT, also nice bounce off the 9 EMA, but don't love these wicks here. These wicks to me a little bit bearish. Then again, a lot of things have looked a certain way or looked like it's going to reverse or seem to be X, Y, Z and then not come to fruition. So I don't want to make any assumptions here. I will not guess. I will only see what these charts take me. You have to take what they're showing you because these markets are certainly in a little bit of a mood. Earnings season, absolutely in full swing. The Shim King saying, but Boeing has come into the last 7-day range on the daily, bottoming. Oh, let's see what that looks like on Boeing. Yeah, Boeing falling to the downside is definitely not a joke. It's a very real concern as of late. It's something that did actually impact Boeing's earnings as well with regards to what's going to happen there with its recovery after the 737 MAX situation. That was discussed during its earnings report released this morning. But yeah, this Boeing, we had this little green candle here, 169 area. Maybe we were going to make a high, continue to try here. Then we fall to the downside. And we chop and turn here for a good while. How long was this? 11:35 to about, well, something like an hour and a half here, trying to pop back up. Now, what will we do at 169? I'm looking at 2 levels. 169, because that was below that 9 EMA. That was where we looked like we could have turned around and didn't. I like 169, but more importantly, I love that 170.50 area. I mentioned this earlier when someone was asking about Boeing. To me, if you're going to see any kind of reversal, or if you're in a downtrend trying to look to see if we're moving up, you always want to see what you do with these key support resistance levels. To me, Boeing 169 and 170.50 are absolutely going to be 2 levels that I want to see for sure. Also, Mara is on the NQ and not the NY. But Mara breaking higher here. I got my 7 pennies and I was pleased as punch. And Mara's like, oh, but Dara, you could have stayed a little bit longer. But it's like, Mara, that's not my type of trade. I took my 7 pennies. I'm happy with it. And we're going to have to see if it gives me another opportunity to play this range. I'll play it to the upside, but I'm not going to take this thing short right now. I just think the way that we're trying to continue to build to the upside, that beautiful bounce off the 9 EMA, I want to be absolutely cautious and wait and see what is to occur. Yeah, I don't have any other trades right now here. Just watching.
I can take
trading.
over, yeah.
Slightly down in the day, about like the amount of like a McDonald's coffee or something. But happy I took some risky trades, at least risky for me, because I think you do learn from everything.
Yeah, look, let's call a spade a spade. Got caught up on these last couple of trades, especially the softy one and the Tesla one. They kind of slapped me in the face a little bit there. But we are rejecting, for the moment, off VWAP on the future. So I don't want to really beat a dead horse and try to keep going after the same short when the market is telling you long. But, I'm not going to take any trades until we've either cleared decisively 17.7 and VWAP, which are awfully close together, or we've rejected it because I feel like I don't have a right read on the market. Believe it or not, I'm still looking short softy. I see topping tail candles come in at 409.5, and I'm like, okay, great, yeah, let's VWAP reject on the future and VWAP reject on softy. So I'm gonna get myself out of that short only mentality and start looking the direction of the market. So we'll see if we can get above VWAP and 17.7. AV, Sharif, are you taking that Intel short at VWAP? I didn't even have eyes on Intel, but I do see here that the government-funded company is getting a nice pump up into volume-weighted average price up 1 1/3. No, I just say that, obviously tongue-in-cheek. You guys.
It's just funny that you always deliver it with the same casual vibe, like you're just always throwing it out there.
Well, our favorite pseudo fan, Neil, is his team is playing today. I know, he's like, yo, bro, I'm trying to enjoy my music while I have some time off. Why are you calling my name? Shout out to Neil. Liverpool plays today, and anybody who watched the Prem yesterday watched a shellacking by Arsenal of Chelsea, 5-0. It was whooping. And obviously, I'm going to be cheering for Liverpool to lose today because we are competing with them for the Prem as well as City. 1 game in hand against Liverpool. Now we got 2 games in hand on City. Obviously, City, I like that. I like playing the games before your competitors because it puts the pressure on them to have to win. You're done and dusted all your games. You won. There's nothing for you to worry about. Now they have to win to kind of keep up with you. So I like the fact that we had a couple of games on them here. And, yeah, put the pressure back on them. But to answer your question, AV, no, I'm not looking at Intel. Well, now I am, Ram, as we are at that $34.85 level. That is where VWAP is. But I feel like I've been scolded by VWAP retracement trades vis-a-vis softy today, and I don't feel like I'm in for another scolding. So I'm going to stay clear on this, again, until we either break or reject 17.7 and the volume-weighted average price on the NQ June contract. I just want to see which way this market is resolving. Obviously, it looks like it's curling up, but yeah, I don't know about you, and maybe it's not fair to ask you at this stage because you're still newerish, but once I feel like I'm short bias on the day, it's hard for me to hit that button and just switch to long bias. Same thing goes for long bias. If I'm long bias on the day, it's hard for me just to switch short. And that's my problem, not nobody else's, obviously. I need to be able to work on that a little bit better. When the market's showing you long, go long. Don't keep looking for the same thing. Have you had that experience?
I was just thinking about that actually, and that's what happened with NVIDIA, and it might have actually been a mistake here. NVDL, I know I kept trying to take these shorts here, and then I was like, you know what, Adara, try to go for the long. We're at that previous area of resistance, which could form to support that 32.80. You saw that, okay, now it's actually working out. We're going to change our exit here. But yeah, so that's what I mean is because I was like, you know, Adara, we did it these little candles, which scared me. They could be kind of bearish, these little wicks to the upside. I was like, but you know what, Adara, we're still seeing higher highs, higher lows. We're seeing that bounce off that 32.80 area. Take a risk, take a shot. So I did, I was really happy to get involved here, and I want 33s. I want the 33s here. I want all of the smoke on this NVDL. We're going to have to wait and see. Maybe I should have just kept my order there at 97s, but I wanted to be a skosh more ambitious and see what this market gives. I was going to be risking probably into 70s. I was risking about 10 pennies, trying to make a minimum 10 pennies. I'm okay with that risk reward. We're going to try to get out 98s. I think I probably should have scalped it earlier. Oh, Adira. Again, just not scalping when you need to scalp. But that's okay. You know what? And that's the biggest thing I've learned from the live is I'm just not scalping enough because I'm like, it's different when it's real money, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, I could get a few more pennies on that. But it's like, if that's not the way you're playing and if you know you could be counter trade with all that rejection we had, you need to be cognizant of that. I am a little bit disappointed in myself for not scalping there. A little bit sad. We're still okay. We're still up. I don't know what that voice was. Sounded like Mickey Mouse. But you know what? It is what it is, and I made the decision I made, and I have to live with that. And we're still like a couple pennies in the money here. We could still bounce back, and we're going to be a lot more ready now when NVDL comes. We're not waiting for that 33 break. What's a 33 break? We want what we can get. And that is, you know, and this is the thing too, is every time I scalp less, the market is always like, Adara, what are you doing? So if the market's going to keep telling me that, I need to keep scalping more. I am very disappointed in myself for how that went down. I should have just kept my order there for 32.97s. We'd be out. We'd be like 15 pennies in the money instead of wanting, what, an extra 2 pennies and losing on that trade. But that's okay. We're still in it. We're still good till we get to 70s. That was a little bit of a slap in the face.
That's okay. I'm not taking plenty of those today.
Yeah, good time.
17.7 just came in on the future. 17.697, not really rejecting it with any vigor. We're at it at the moment. And wow, yeah, everything's on the way to the north side here. Even the dead one, AAPL, about 10 pennies off the high a day right now. 169.28 is the high. We're printing 12.13s or thereabouts. Tesla still south of VWAP, and the last time Tesla made it up into VWAP, it was a nice rejection. We took that one short. VWAP on my chart, 162 currently. Now, there's some other stuff that's rejecting. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in Mag 7 world at the moment. You had a big red candle come in there on Meta at 494 at the 50 period, and look at that. It just dropped $4. It tanked off 493.88 all the way down into 490 and change there. Nice rejection off the 50 period, not an area that I had earmarked, to be honest. So I wouldn't have taken that trade. I was looking more at 496 because that's where VWAP is and that's where yesterday's closing print was. So I felt that that was a better area for the short. Alas, the market doesn't care about where I feel the better area for the short is. Down goes Meta. Let's see if it can break that 4.9 area. In addition to that, look at this topping tail candle being put on Amazon at the 50 period as well. So it looks like they're, for the moment, rejecting that 177.50, pushing this one back down into 177.25. So there could still be shorts at play, especially since we didn't clear 17.7, a bit of a topping tail candle also on the future here. You wouldn't know it if you looked at Google, Microsoft, and Apple. They're all still headed to the upside here. Oh, wow. This is a really tough day to trade. At least it is in the afternoon anyway. Wow, okay. So now all of a sudden, now we're not getting VWAP rejections. We seem to be getting 50 period rejections on some of these Mag 7 names. I'm looking specifically at Meta and Amazon, both of which rejected off the 50 period, as well as NVIDIA. Look at this move into 818 at the 50 period, moves $4 down. So the 50 period is in vogue right now for the Mag 7, not sure why. And I don't think we've given up the ghost at 17.7 either. I mean, you have a topping tail candle in there, but you're not getting aggressive selling. So, wow, I think I personally still think the longs are in. Yeah, interesting look here. Wow, Google just printed higher. Okay, so what would be good to go long here? This is interesting. Okay. Well, I'm just going to stay put, to be honest with you. I'm not going to get long anything because I feel like I haven't had the right read on the market. But, yeah, interesting. Everything's curling up here.
Yeah, I had to get out of that NVDL because it was like, you know what, Adara, you messed up the timing. You should have scalped. You didn't scalp. And it's like, I don't know why I need the market to remind me once a day that I am a scalper. I know I'm a scalper. I identify as a scalper. If I like scalps, I should be taking scalps. I have just said the word scalp way too many times in the last minute, but that's okay. And now we're getting long again because I see what I like. I wanted that bounce off 70s. We didn't have it initially. That's why I got out. But we're having it again. So it's like, Adara, get the heck back into the trade. We should be, we're one at 71s. We should be there. There we go. We're getting 71s. We're going to be taking this into 89s if we get it. That's about 20 pennies. If we break below 60s, I'm out. I'm happy with this. I'm sorry, I'm speaking very quickly, but these markets are moving with a viciousness. And I'm trying to match their intensity there. What else? I don't really have a view on much else. I've just been watching this NVDL here. This Mara, we'll kind of have to see a bit below that 9 EMA. We know I like that 50s area because I took that 50 area long. I like that support. If we resist 50s, if we reject here, that could be a little bit of a spicy short opportunity for me. but I don't have a read on it yet, so I'm definitely going to be a bit more of a wait and see. NVIDIA trying to run back to the upside, so definitely she can do her thing, 21. I'd be pleased as punch about that. But you're right, I've also noticed, because I use the 9 EMA, you use the 10 EMA, and there is an interesting relationship that these Mag 7 related names have had with those levels. Someone is punching his fist, so I know Sharif is definitely having a good time there with Meta. It doesn't look like a small move there. How is your Meta going?
It was good. We just took like almost $1 in like a second there. So nice move up on META. Thank you, Patty Ice. BPI. Shout out to BPI, baby. Always good vibes, BPI. We know the Katina man is good vibes, but trust me, I'm talking to BPI a lot. And he's got a lot of good advice, too. Anytime you need life advice, I feel like BPI is one of the go-to people to bounce stuff off. Shout out to Big Patty Ice. Apple is at day's highs. Apple just printed a new high a day, but now we could be looking for a possible double top in this vicinity. So 169 and a third, 169.29 to be exact. And this is a random area to find an area of resistance. So I didn't chart this area, quite frankly, and I did chart Apple yesterday. I didn't anticipate that we would have this kind of move. Now that we've had this move today, I'm going to have in my mind the 170 rejection tomorrow. That is, of course, unless 170 comes in today. And we exhaust that play today. So we'll keep eyes on that. Big Kyle Burdett, Adair doing the Austin Powers mole. Do you remember this from Austin Powers 3?
I have only seen part of the one where he raps.
Oh, yeah, that is 3. No, that is 2.
That
Hold
is
on.
2, okay.
Which one am I? I'm talking about 3, yeah, 3.
That's one with Beyonce, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I
Where they have a mole.
okay, then I've seen part of that one as well, but I don't know that scene.
He's like mole, because the guy has a mole on his lip, but he can't
really?
stop saying mole.
Oh, I have
But
not
the
seen
guy's
that.
an actual mole
Wait,
as well,
what?
so he's a spy and he has a mole. Yeah, it was
That's
like
good.
right down your alley.
That's
I figured you'd know
classic.
that, yeah.
It's like puns on puns on puns. Thank you for that, Kyle Burdett, and thank you, Sharif, for explaining it to me.
That's one of my favorite movie series anyway. Michael Myers and I share the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's
so
Canadian.
Yes, he is.
So
So I like Michael Myers.
That's cool.
You know one thing I haven't actually watched though, Michael Myers related? Wayne's World.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
either.
watched the series of Wayne's World. I definitely want to do that because I like a lot of his stuff. Guys, Google's skyrocketing here. I don't know what's going on with the goggles, but it's on its way into that 159. We're about 20 pennies away from high a day right now. That was one hell of a retracement on Google, especially because it kept rejecting off VWAP or the yesterday's closing print at 158 and a quarter. Didn't matter. It didn't matter that it had done it in the past. It's on its way up. It looks like it may come into that 159 area. We're only like 15 pennies away from that now. On the day, though, 159.01 has been a resistance level. That is the high a day. So that whole dollar area acting as a level of resistance. So we'll keep eyes on that. And we also haven't cleared 17.7, which is probably why we're on the way down on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the one that's retracing down at the moment. While we're seeing strength in a lot of other names, I'm talking about Softy, literally everything else is curling up except NVIDIA. It looks like it's on its way down to 810 again, 811 and a half, Federa. So we'll keep eyes on that going into the afternoon. But yeah, keep your eye out on Softy or in goggles for 159. That could be interesting. I would say also keep your eye on 496 or thereabouts on Meta. We had a consolidation bottom there earlier, and it's also where VWAP and yesterday's closing print is. If it does break above the 50, we took a dip trade on Meta there not too long ago. Let's see what everybody else is talking about here in the chat as we don't have that much time left. Oh, wow. Thomas Allred, Boy Meets World, grew up and into his mole. Yep. Topanga. Yeah, I was a big fan of Topanga's growing up. Anybody who knows Boy Meets World knows exactly what I'm talking about there. Yes, Ram. Let's see what else we got over here. The Skips 8. You've got to watch Wayne's World tonight. Yes, sir. No, I really will actually put that on the list. I do like Mike Myers, so I want to watch Wayne's World for sure. Let's see what else people are talking about here. Big Kyle. NVIDIA short is helping me hang into the SPY short attempt. Hard stop at 506.75. You heard it from the mouth himself, Big Kyle Burdett.
Yeah, shout out to Calbert, and congrats on your NVIDIA short. Honestly, the longs didn't work out, but I'm so happy I got out where I did here.
Nice.
Like, I got it, we broke below 60s. I said I have to leave, and NVIDIA's like, yeah, I mean, bye-bye. We're going to continue to the downside. I tried to flip short on this, but I couldn't flip it fast enough, and that's one thing I need to work on, is if I have levels I like, and this is generally something I like to do. If I want to play it one way and it doesn't work, I'm okay with playing it the other way. But I just don't think my fingers are fast enough as of this point, or I'm not fast enough with the keys to be able to take advantage of those moves. So that's going to be my bucket list thing. The other thing I want to keep in mind is it's one thing to have ideas that you like, and it's another to be able to execute them properly. So this NVDL, if I had just scalped out of this, we would have been fine, and I probably wouldn't have tried to take this trade again. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing, is just, Adara, one thing is having levels you like going in, but also make sure you have your levels you like going out. You should have just scalped. And again, as I said earlier, the market should not have to remind me that I'm a scalper every single day. So hopefully this will be the last time. You know, market, tomorrow I'm going to come in, I'm going to have all those orders ready. You just wait. I don't know what. I am giving an ultimatum to the market, but you know, I'm going to still be here tomorrow. You're going to still be here tomorrow, market, and I'm ready to take you on with a viciousness. Let's go toe to toe. But overall, slightly down in the day. Better day than yesterday, though, by far. I think I managed my trades a lot better. I was involved in a lot less, and I'm definitely happy that I'm just taking the opportunity to take every trade I feel confidently in as I continue to learn.
Absolutely, love it. Let's point out a couple of things here before we send it off to the big kahunas. I want to mention this top on Apple right now, 169.29. We just came into that level again. Down we go into that general 169 single digits. Let's see if this ends up manifesting into a real double top, or we just get like a momentary pullback off the previous high. That's number one. Number two, look at goggles right into 159 again. So the same thing we were talking about with respect to Apple. I'm talking about here with Google, 159.01 HOD. We're printing 97s or 96s. Now look for a possible rejection off that level that could come in. And Tesla is at VWAP right now, so we'll have to wait and see how that resolves. Last time around, Tesla was at VWAP. It did reject and dropped about $5. Last couple of things, Meta and Amazon are having issues with the 50 period in the same way that NVIDIA is having issues with the 50 period. I'm talking about the 50 period EMA on the 5. That's specifically what I'm talking about. And then Softy looks like it's on its way back up, breaking through now the whole dollar at 410 Adara. It is now 2 o'clock.
It is 2 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow with more bull flag action. Same bat time, same bat channel. For now, though, we have Brendan.
See you guys.
Big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, Randy's here. It's 2 o'clock, busy afternoon to tell you about here. Lots going on.